when you just watch the way Green Bay is getting started here, they're really crisp. There it is. You know, like they do in wrestling. Boom! There it is. Boom! Right there. That's a wham block. There it is. Throw me the money!
Good morning, everybody. Put the coffee on. It's time to wake and rake and win together. I have my coffee. I have my energy drink. It's 40 degrees outside. Got John Madden on there talking about good hitting weather, cricket, and heavy steps in the house. Chris over there producing the show. We're going to hit all the games, figure out who we need to bench, who we can bet on, who we need to start. Let us know in the comments what decisions you are facing, and we'll steer you in the right direction. Fear not. How you guys doing this morning? Heavy, you got a sweatshirt on. Aren't you down in Atlanta area?
That's right. I mean, Cricket can attest he's not too far north of me. But I just think I was up in Indiana for a couple of days. I think I brought the weather back down with me. So I went up there in a t-shirt and shorts, came home in a hoodie and shorts because white guys like to wear hoodies and shorts.
That's a popular combination up in Wisconsin.
That's right.
Yeah. You got to spring and fall. You can do hoodie and shorts. Absolutely. Cricket, you're looking all business in your collared shirt this morning. You ready to win some wagers?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Big day in the NFL, man. It's an exciting game. We had an exciting game early this morning, man. I'm ready to get that thing rolling.
Yeah, shit. We got a game going on right now. What time did that kick, or is it about?
No, it kicks off in about 20 minutes. Usually starts 9:30 my time. So
What channel is that on?
It should be ESPN Plus, maybe.
No shit.
One of them ESPN
NFL Network, maybe.
Could be.
NFL Network, Chris.
Yeah, NFL Network.
Nice. So widely available. All the real football guys have NFL Network. I got a little parlay going on that one. Bills -5, longest touchdown over 39.5 yards, and a Dalton Kincaid touchdown. 11-1.
I like
I'm
that.
basically just taking the Dalton Kincaid touchdown at 11-1 because the other two are shoe-ins.
We actually get a good matchup this morning too.
Yeah.
You know, usually we're getting these two teams that are pieced together regardless, of it's all predetermined. So, and usually Jags are not good usually, but now they're developed into a formidable NFL team that can put some good players out there and put a good product out there. So this should be a really good one.
Yeah, we're getting, steadily better and better games in these international matchups. I'm getting a little worried they're sending all the good stuff over there, but yeah, Jags underperforming a little bit. We'll find out exactly who they are this morning.
It's time for Atlanta to get a team. They should get a team, dude. I think they're ready.
Shout out Patriot 4165 over on Rumble. What's up, brother?
The realest of them all, Patriot. I mean,
he's having a good one. He had Oklahoma yesterday.
He is. His Boomer Sooners got a big win yesterday. Congratulations on that, sir. That was a good game, man. That was crazy.
I was
Mayfield.
Texas won too, I think. His Rangers won, I think.
Oh, I was going to say, I was like, Texas played Oklahoma, but you're talking about baseball. Yeah, no, the Rangers and the Sooners won yesterday. Yes, he had a big day. That's good, man, because he got his Cowboys playing the 49ers or not. It's probably going to be pretty rough. So
that's what he's here for, to tell us how wrong we are.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, tell us all about how the Cowboys are going to win that game. I wonder if Jordan might be here to break that one down. If not, we'll ask him. I mean,
that's right.
We got experts all over the place. So we talk about this Ravens-Steelers game. Steelers +4.5, totals down to 37.5 last I checked this morning. It was 38.5 last night. The last three games between these two have been 16-13, 16-14, and 16-13. So I put a couple bucks on 16-13 exact result because why not?
Right? Why not?
It was like 35
because the under's not good enough, right?
Yeah. Oh, I also took
48.
I think we could look at some alt unders under 21.5, maybe. That's probably like 3 or 4 to 1.
If you like the game to be that low, then you kind of like the Steelers a little bit too, right?
Yeah, I think these NFC West matchups and AFC North matchups, you just always take the points, and I think you do okay.
Cricket, how you feel about that one?
Man, I don't know. I've been back and forth on this one all week. I'm probably going to wind up staying away from this one. I don't know why. With Kenny Pickett being banged up, he's coming back from that bruise knee, going to play and all that stuff. But I just saw a lot of problems from the Steelers last week. Saw a lot of good things from the Ravens, which makes me feel like the line should be a little bit higher. So I don't know why it's really down there. I feel like it should be closer to about 6.5 in this spot, just as bad as the Steelers look. So I think it's kind of weird to me. And I could totally see the Steelers wind up winning this thing outright. So I'm probably going to wind up avoiding this one, man.
They took Pickett off the injury report. That seems a little shifty because we know he's hurt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you got Mitchell Trubisky behind that guy. Who wants to play with that cat?
Yeah, I mean, it tells me that's how bad Tomlin doesn't want to start Trubisky. That
Right.
he's basically trying to speak it into existence that Kenny Pickett isn't injured.
Send Kenny Pickett out there on one leg, man, over Mitchell Trubisky. I don't blame him.
They got Alex Highsmith questionable with a groin. Only one limited practice on Friday. Marlon Humphrey allegedly back. He practiced in full on Friday. Highsmith being missing is going to be a problem. Odell obviously still has an ankle. And Freiermuth out with a hamstring. We got some hamstrings that popped up this week that are downright frightening. Jahmyr Gibbs out with a hamstring. Holy shit. How many weeks is that going to be?
Oh, I know. Those things are a pandemic right now, man. Is he out for sure today?
He's down to doubtful. They won't make him out yet. The genius, David Jennis. How you doing this morning, fellow ball brother?
I'm here. In the process of moving, so my house is halfway empty. I should be moved on Wednesday, so next week I'll be at the new house.
You still got the family sign intact behind you, though.
Yeah, I tried to keep this corner the same for now. Like I said, at the new house, I want to have all my stuff, like, all my Steelers stuff and a couple of her Bengals things in there. But
well, you popped in just in time, man. We're talking about your Steelers and the Ravens, man. What do you think about that game today?
Listen, it doesn't matter who's banged up in that game or who's hurt. That game's going to be a slobber knocker. It always is. We we fight each other hard. And that's probably why the line is what it is. Honestly, the Ravens do look better than my Steelers right now, as disgusting as that is to say. But that game is one of those games that can go any way. And with the Steelers being at home, I'll take them with the points.
Oh, yeah, that division always seems to play close, man. Like y'all said, hard hitting, just gritty football. It always seems to be a close game, no matter how bad one team is and how good the other one is. They always seem to be in the game with each other.
Yeah. I've been talking, Cricket, you've heard me all week talking about, betting the spot versus betting the game. So now that I'm back home, I'll finally give you some of these trends that action gave us that just made me love the spot. So Steelers have won 5 of 6 against the Ravens. Underdog has covered 11 straight.
Wow.
As an underdog, Tomlin, 42-17, or in this series, I guess, 42-17-1 against the spread, 71%.
Wow.
As an underdog of 7 or less, 39-12-1, 76%. As a home dog, 14-3-1, 82%. As a division dog, 24-1, 83%. And as an underdog coming off a loss by 7 or more, 8-1 against the spread, 89%. So classic buy low, sell high spot. And I think this is your perfect opportunity. Like if you're a Tomlin trend guy, coming off of a horrible division loss last week at home in a spot as an underdog. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this, right, David?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Steelers are going to come in just mad. Like they came in with such high expectations this year. Everybody's like Kenny Pickett and how he looked in the preseason. Don't pay attention to preseason, people. We've learned this before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, preseason is bad intel. Heavy, we were talking about before the show, we were talking about fading Louisville next week after the big game or the big win. Do you think it's a good idea to just bet against the Steelers and the Ravens the week after they play each other every time? Because they're going to come limping out of this thing.
Yeah, I think in any divisional game in that division is hard hitting. Not to say that other division games aren't. I mean, Bills Miami last week, that was a huge division game, and I don't think those two teams are coming limping out of that one, other than maybe some egos. But you got these two tough-minded teams. It's the type of football that they like to play. So, and it's going to be ugly, and I think that's what's going to make. Like last night was ugly too in that game. Speaking of Louisville, Notre Dame, but yeah, I think it could be a good spot to take somebody off of after. It just depends, travel. Are they at home? And I think this is the Ravens.
Steelers next week.
Ravens are back to back. Yeah. Ravens are back to back on the road. I think, they went to Cleveland last week and got the win. And now they're on the road again this week in a tough division game. So
Guthrie contingent is heavy in the chat. We got a huge OSU fan from Guthrie. Of course, Patriot 4165 is another connection to us. My aunt and some cousins live in Guthrie. How big is Guthrie, Chris? What's the population down there? About like it. Wow. That's wild then that many people are from. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. No first touchdown, 80-1. What do you think about that, Heavy? You like that?
No first touchdown. What is that? Tell me about that.
That's usually 110-1.
When they just kick a field goal, I guess, or a
Yeah.
safety, or anything happens beside a touchdown first.
Yeah, like a 15-12, a 9-6 game.
You
they can't.
You
They can't
always
score
find
touchdown
these good ones.
They can't score a touchdown the whole game. It's all the way down to 80-1.
Jesus Christ!
It's all the way down to
man.
80-1, man. They must know something. Must be a lock this week.
I saw a bet yesterday. I don't know what it was, but it was like 10,000. So they would only allow you to put $1 on it. I don't remember what it was though, but I was like, let me put $2 on this.
That's when you know it's a great bet, when the little red flag comes up, like, oh no, you can't bet more than $1 on this.
Yeah.
We know you're going to clean us.
Well, I want to put $1.50 on it immediately.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like Step said, at least $2 right now.
I didn't try to bet it and then try to bet it again, but I'm sure they don't allow it.
I'd say they probably catch you, man. Those people ain't no dummies, really.
Yeah,
Nope.
you don't want to mess with them.
They don't live on those big tropical islands because they pay out bets.
Yeah, and they got my money, so
Right.
Because I don't take it out.
Nope, you're a very savvy guy with moving the funds around. I'm gonna have to take that course from you too, as well as the bankroll management course. Hitting these bonuses and taking advantage of the books. You got to take advantage of these people any way you can, because you better bet they're doing it to us.
Of course.
It's always, we may fight amongst ourselves. There are some very annoying gamblers on the Twitter, but it's always all of us against them.
Like they didn't have a prop you wanted this morning. Who was that? They
still haven't put up the AJ Dillon rushing yards for
tomorrow
night. And there's rumors going around that they're shopping AJ Dillon. Aaron Jones limited practice all week. He might not see a ton of, maybe they just showcased the kid and he has 80 yards. I bet 80 yards is like 6-1.
That just means they have no idea themselves. So
nope.
That just
they're afraid. They're afraid of anybody who might know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, there's actual there's people out there who maybe loved AJ Dillon and were convinced he's good, and maybe they want to still bet on him. Let's not offer that.
Yeah. They're scared of it for sure. That's what it is. When they don't know, man, they don't want to take a bath on that thing.
Well, I feel better with the 4.5 now that Heavy says he loves it. Cricket's staying away from this one. I don't blame him.
It's my biggest bet of the week. 4
Ooh,
units. Yeah.
Best bet.
Yep.
I'm actually probably staying away from side, but I probably am on the under in this thing. I love those totals in the 30s, man. I'm never betting over on a total in the 30s, and I'm never betting under on a total in the 70s. So I know that don't happen in the NFL, but in college football, if it's in the 70s, if I'm thinking about the under, I'm gonna leave that shit alone. But I think I probably am gonna bet the under in this one.
Yeah, if it's in the 70s, somebody's scoring 56.
Absolutely,
that thing's going over. Texans at Falcons. Dameon Pierce off the injury report. He got 67% of the rush attempts last week. I believe that's a season high for him, trending upwards. Texans O-line still very beat up. What do you think about this one, Cricket?
This one's been another weird one for me. I think I'm on the Falcons in this one. Just coming back. They've had a couple tough games in a row at Detroit, out there in London against the Jags. I like what I've seen out of the Texans, man. 2 big, high-emotion games 2 weeks in a row, really smacking teams that were supposed to be much better than them in the mouth. But this just feels like a spot for me. We've got the whole Desmond Ridder had never lost at home thing and stuff like that. You talk about the Texans' offensive line being banged up a little bit. It just feels like a spot for me where you're okay with the Falcons under a field goal right here. I know a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy, just as good as the Texans have looked, but they're still a rookie-laden squad going on the road again. They've had a couple big games in a row, had that confidence up there. It's about time for a setback, I think, for the Texans.
David, can you confidently start any Atlanta Falcon besides Bijan Robinson?
No, not confidently. I mean, I have done it. And I actually have a bet in this week on London getting an anytime touchdown finally, getting in there. He got close several times last week. My thing with Houston, though, I mean, they're great right now and they're high flying. They got a rookie quarterback that nobody had any tape on in an NFL system. The longer this goes on, the more people are going to figure out, what they're doing over there and scheme up ways to stop it. I'd like to say Stroud is finally the OSU quarterback we're waiting on to break out, but not really because I'm a Michigan fan, so screw all those guys.
He's throwing it like 30 times a game, which is crazy for a rookie. But I mean, I saw a cut cut up video of Kyle Pitts just falling down on routes yesterday, and it was very alarming because now I have a theory that none of us actually watch the Atlanta Falcons, so we don't know this is happening. We just see the target percentage and the routes run. We don't see him falling down on post routes, and I think I'm awake to that now.
Maybe he's doing it because he knows they're not throwing him the ball anyway. I might as well just flop out here.
Yep. I don't think he's 100% back from his injury last year, but somebody that kind of caught my eye last week was Jonnu Smith. They kind of got him. They started to get him involved a little bit, and he's proved that he can do it in other places. So Arthur Smith brought him in for a reason. He knows how he can play, and we saw him get some catches last week. So maybe we'll see a little bit more from him today. But I think the Texans are for real. I think they are a really good team. Their run defense is suspect. So I think that, Bijan today is probably going to have a pretty good day. I did take his rushing prop over, I think it was 68 or 78. It's up to like 88 now. It's up to 88 now. So
wow.
I would also look maybe to take an alternate on maybe like his next tier up or after that to get over 100 today. So I think that, I don't know. I think the safest side is maybe a team total for the Texans. It was at 19.5. I think 20. I think they can score 3 touchdowns. So I like those 2 props versus taking a side in the game today.
I like that. I think Bijan.
It feels weird because I said at the beginning of the season that the Texans were going to surprise people that they were, but I said it for the completely wrong reasons. Like it's been this high flying offense that's been crazy, and their defense has been okay. But I said it was going to be D'Amico Ryans coming in and making this defense what he had in San Fran. Like he's a defensive minded coach. I mean, they are surprising people, but for the wrong reasons. I took Bijan with the, I think it was over 110.5 rushing and receiving combined.
That's good too.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, Algier is being phased out. Week 1, he played 56% of snaps, and it's gone steadily down to 44, 30, 26 last week.
I mean, Bijan's got a highlight reel every week, dude. He's leaving somebody on the ground every week. He's hard to tackle.
He is really fun to have on the fantasy team. That's for sure.
Which leaves the question, what the heck is going on with Gibbs? Because he was supposed to be almost as good. Some people predicted better than Bijan this year. And they're just like, Gibbs who in Detroit?
Montgomery.
Yeah.
He's proven it.
Montgomery's absolutely tearing it up. I had to drop. I forgot who I even dropped, but I had to pick up Craig Reynolds yesterday, and I'm starting running back Craig Reynolds.
Who is that?
Strong. That's the third string running back for the Lions, man.
Who they do love and will probably get, I don't know, 10 chances to do something today.
What was his name?
They're all from inside the 5.
Craig Reynolds.
Craig Reynolds.
That's such a
Craig.
cookie cutter name.
That's old man Reynolds boy.
Let him be a man.
He sounds
Come
slow.
on, Craig.
He sounds slow, like a fullback or something. Craig Reynolds.
He's not the fastest.
Does he wear like one of those big neck things?
No, he doesn't look like old chick out there, man.
Like Mike Allstott. That's what I picture Craig Reynolds being.
No, he's not quite that big, man.
Okay.
So Falcons minus 2.5 at home. We feel good about that, Heavy. The whole Ritter thing.
I'd probably lean that way at home.
You like the props more.
They need a win, but I like the props. I Bijan's prop a lot. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that's the only one too. I like I said, I took London on the touchdown, but otherwise I stayed away from Falcons props right now, unless I'm going unders.
Yeah,
Tank Dell completely disappeared last week. Maybe he pops back up again. I think he had like 3 points. Unacceptable.
He's not even on some of the books. Like I searched for him on, I think it was MGM, and they didn't even have him on there as an option.
I think Tank Dell's your next. I think he's your next Zay Flowers, where he's going to give you like 20 plus points about 4 games of the year, and he's going to give you like 2 the other 13.
Yep, and you're just going to have to figure it out. Like Gabe Davis, maddening. You never know when Gabe Davis is going to do it.
Yep.
Hey, before we move on from this one, quick question. So you've got, I was just looking at like rookie of the year. I mean, obviously Stroud's the front runner, but you can get Bijan at plus 450 right now.
Ooh, nice.
if Stroud gets hurt, or slips up a little bit, starts throwing some picks.
What are Stroud's odds now?
I just closed it.
I got me a plus 850 in my pocket.
I was going to say, Will's got him a plus 900 in his pocket too.
But I bet that at the Fantasy Expo in a legal state, so I don't know. I can't really deal with my DraftKings account up here in Wisconsin. I can withdraw it though.
Golly, when are they going to get past this shit and make this stuff legal everywhere? That's ridiculous.
Figure it
Never.
out. Figure it out. I would imagine he's like a plus 150.
He was plus 170.
Oh man, heavy favorite then.
Yeah.
Yep. They love a quarterback. The other quarterbacks aren't performing, and really Bijan is the threat. So
we'll see what Anthony Richardson looks like with Jonathan Taylor coming back into the picture.
That's who I'm mostly worried about is Anthony Richardson. If that dude stays upright and keeps doing what he's doing, I mean, he completed a 40-yard pass while Aaron Donald had him in a bear hug last week. That's an unbelievable display of physical ability to play football.
I like
his completion percentage is awful though. It is.
That's going to be something you're going to have to work on as his career goes along. It ain't never been good. It wasn't good at Florida neither. But this guy's such a freak athlete. I like what I'm seeing out of Anthony Richardson. Man, he's adjusting to the speed of the game as well as any of these guys, other than probably C.J. Stroud. I like what I'm seeing out of that guy, man. I didn't think I'd be saying this about Week 5 because everybody was already chalked it up. He was going to be a bust. He sat around and heard all that stuff all summer long and everything. Anthony Richardson came out to play, man. I like what I'm seeing out of that guy.
Yep. Very limited experience. I thought he was going to be a bigger, stronger Mitch Trubisky. I was probably incorrect on that assessment. Patriot 4165 making a great point. Atlanta is coming home from London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cricket's the travel guy. He loves to talk travel.
Oh, you love Miles travel,
man. Yeah, this for me more just feels like a spot. I mean, you probably should be on the unders. I think the unders are what was it? Or was it the over on the team total? Over, that's what it was. Will's heavy on the over on the Texans team total because apparently it hits a crazy rate for teams that are coming back from London and have to play their first game back from London. Apparently they give up a lot of points. I still think the Falcons are going to score some points today too, so you might want to be looking at the overs in this thing.
Yeah, I mean it's just 42. It's not that hard to get to 42.
I swear off those. I don't touch between 42 and 45. I feel like I'm flipping a coin and I always flip the wrong side. So I don't touch between 42 and 45 on totals.
Yep.
Cricket's rules. We need a list of these rules, Cricket.
Yeah. We need a
whiteboard to write them on.
Get a tablet. David, Panthers at Lions. We got all kinds of injuries here. Gibbs doubtful. Still can't put him in your IR spot and pick somebody up. Frank Ragnow out with non-injury. St. Brown doubtful. He's probably not going to play with the abdomen. And then Miles Sanders off the injury report, but he still sucks at football.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Amon-Ra to be officially out. Coach is being careful with him. Amon-Ra was saying, I hit my fastest speed in practice this week that I've ever hit. I want to play.
What?
Yeah. So he wants to go. But again, it's in the end, it's going to be the coach's decision. And they might not want to risk him against the Panthers team that they should beat, regardless. But I'm waiting on him mainly because in my 16 leagues, I have him in half of them. So,
right.
Yeah. Players coach, he might want to get the vibes up in the locker room and say, you know what? Get out there and bite a kneecap or two.
Well, and he's a tough coach, right? So, I mean, he wants these tough players. And Amon-Ra's, what you see is you've seen his dad. He looks like freaking the Hulk. So,
yeah. I mean, he's been playing through a toe injury that would sideline most wide receivers, and he's barely regressed.
Right.
So he's established himself. Arguably, maybe in the mix for toughest wide receiver since Steve Smith. That's where he's at for me.
Okay.
Yep, we'll see. He still has a lot to do, but maybe. Steve Smith, I mean, ultimate respect for that guy. He was a short dude playing out there when a cornerback and a safety could take your life legally.
Yeah, legend. He's a legend.
He just pop right back up.
He would, man.
Now I'm a Steelers fan, but I liked Hines Ward. I mean, he's the only guy I've ever seen.
No, I'm with you there, man.
He's a dog.
I'm a Vols fan. He's a Georgia boy and all that, and I still love Hines Ward, man.
He always had this smile on his face. No matter what he did, he had a smile. When he played out Ray Lewis, he just popped up, smiled, and just walked back. And he was never a a big-headed dude, like,
No.
try to be all out there. He was a calm, collected.
And
He
you
was
never
a
really
steal.
saw. You never saw any drama from him. You never see any real like off the field scandal stuff, man. He just showed up on Sunday ready to play.
Yep. That's what Juju was sort of trying to be the new Hines Ward, but he's too TikTok for that. Who was the guy that Hines Ward laid out on that block? I think they made a T-shirt about it. He would just. It was either a Ravens or Bengals game, man. Those Bengals, were you guys together in like 15, 16 when that rivalry was heated with Vontez Burfict and whatnot?
Oh my goodness.
When he knocked freaking what's his face's brain loose.
He did that a couple times, man. That guy was a dirty player.
Yeah.
Who's the guy I'm thinking of? The receiver, the crazy
Antonio
dude.
Brown.
AB.
Yeah, he hasn't been the same since. That guy is.
No, he did.
Oh, yeah.
Vontez Burfict destroyed AB. That's exactly what happened, man. His brain ain't worked since.
It all went downhill after that. Lions, all those injuries still -9. Is that alarming to you, Cricket?
It is a little bit, man. You know, I don't know. There's a lot of games this week. I feel like they got the Lions real close, man. It's going to be sketchy this weekend, I think. I think you got to take the Lions right here, though. I just don't see enough out of the Panthers, especially on the road, man. They looked pretty dismal at the Seahawks that game. So, and I think the Lions, I know the Seahawks beat the Lions in overtime, but I think the Lions are a more complete team overall than the Seahawks. And I just feel like at home, they've already let that one slip away at home. I think today they're going to come out. This is probably a 2-touchdown victory, at least 10-plus point victory for the Lions, in my opinion. But it's still a weird line, man.
Seattle, a tough place to play. Detroit getting a more and more of a reputation as a loud, rowdy environment too.
Yeah. I think this like -9 probably it's a good maybe teaser spot if anything, but still you're not getting under the key number of 3 on a teaser, so I'd probably stay away from that. But I think with the potential of St. Brown and maybe Gibbs out, Montgomery's probably going to get a bulk of the carries. Maybe I looked into his touchdown prop; it's like -200 something. So,
wow.
Yeah, to get plus money, you have to go for 2 2+ touchdowns. So maybe like a 2+ touchdown over 100-yard parlay for Montgomery today. That's what I'd probably bet. And Thielen's over receptions. It's still at over 4.5. Last week we saw Bryce Young get him involved early, and I think that's kind of becoming his safety net. Like, he's finally figuring out I've got an all-pro guy that has a lot of minutes under his belt, a lot of catches under his belt. So why don't I
runs
use
the right route every single time, always where he's supposed to be, and he catches the thing like 7-8 times out of 10. And they keep putting his total at 4 or 5 receptions, and he's catching 8-9 balls.
Until they get that thing up to 6.5 or 7.5, I'm going to bet over on Adam Thielen's every week. He's getting double-digit targets. He's catching the football, runs good crisp routes. He's obviously the number 1 receiver in this offense right now, and they're going to have to look for him because they don't really have anybody else to go to, man. And I'm going to keep piling on those Adam Thielen over 4.5 receptions or whatever up until they get it about 6.5 or 7. I think that's easy money.
Yep.
They finally moved the line. It was typically like around -120, -130. Now it's starting out at like -145, -150.
See, I'd almost rather if I can get an alternate line, add a couple catches to it, man, have him over like 6.5.
I would bet that too. I would bet that too.
Yeah.
He went, Dalton leaned on him hard in the road game in Seattle. Coming to the stage with his 49ers hat on. AK from the Millie Goats. He's going to help us build a DFS lineup in a bit. Fresh, clean shave. You look downright professional. Hell, I'd hire you. How you doing?
Trying to change the momentum. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Did I make a mistake though? Usually you don't shave your playoff beer in the middle of a win streak.
Some of us had money on the New York Rangers to win the Stanley Cup last year, and then you went and shaved your beard in the first round.
Still haven't heard the end of it. Oh my gosh!
Some people don't change their whole entire 104 win baseball team lineup the first game of the playoffs either, like the Braves.
Out thinking it. I mean,
you know what we're gonna do? This has been working really well. We're gonna throw something different. They'll never see it coming. We're gonna switch things up.
I mean, it was like they drew the shit out of the hat and just was like, "Here's the lineup."
Dumber team yesterday. Atlanta Braves or Miami Hurricanes.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! The Miami Hurricanes.
Are you kidding me?
Take a knee. The game's over.
He did it at Oregon.
What?
He was at Oregon.
Didn't
It
learn.
happened against Stanford. He had the same chance to do it at Stanford. So he's a what do they call it? A
Dumbass.
well, yes,
Analytics guy,
but
or he just like goes
no,
by.
somebody who does something over and over again. I can't even think of the word.
Oh,
right
that's
An insane person?
yeah,
now.
insane.
He's a perpetual clock mismanager. He's like, hey,
Dan Quinn. He's Dan Quinn.
You didn't
Yeah.
even have to manage anything. Take a
Kneel
knee
the
in the
fucking
game.
ball.
he's like Mike McCarthy. Hold my beer.
Yeah, why did you? And then on top of that, after they screwed up the fumble, they gave up 2 deep passes with like no time left. Are you kidding me?
And Georgia
man?
Tech's not
dude,
that good.
If
No.
I see another coach go prevent defense late in the game, I mean, they've been getting burned. People can get burned going prevent. Happened to Duke
Mhm.
against Notre Dame. He blitzed all night, and then on
Third and long.
Man,
or fourth.
people-
No, it's fourth down.
fourth and long,
Yeah.
fourth
He
and 20, like
changed
we're
it
gonna
up.
rush
went
3.
prevent.
People have been getting
Anyways.
burned in the prevent since 1998, man. I don't
Yep.
know when they're going to figure this shit out, but I'm telling you, that guy right there, they should really be doing some soul searching for that. I figured he would learn from it the first time when he did it at Oregon, but I saw those highlights of that game last night, and I literally could not believe my eyes, man. There is no excuse for that. You're getting paid millions of dollars to coach a football team. You do some shit like that. That man
I'm
ought to half that
transferring.
money to charity this morning right now.
I don't
Mm.
trust my coaches after that.
No.
No.
Because the head coach knew the play call too. He's on the headset.
Yeah.
Man,
I mean, that's a fireable offense.
Yeah, it ought to
And-
be.
It's been like that since I was a freckle-faced, buck-toothed little toddler on the floor listening to my old man say, the prevent defense all it does prevent you from winning. And it
That's
remains true.
You use it
You
on
can't
Hail
win
Mary.
when you're playing
That's
not
it.
to lose.
That's right.
Yeah, you got to be aggressive, but you also can't be aggressive and hand the ball off in that spot. That was
Just
awful.
take a knee. Or, hey, running back, maybe just know that you can't fumble. Just get down. Just get on the ground. I mean, how can all those players that play college football and been playing football this long, how can somebody not be like, you sure about this, coach? You sure you want to do this?
There was some weird shit. USC, that punt thing before we go back to NFL.
Mhm.
Did you see them try to pull the player into the ball to have him
Oh,
touch it?
yes.
Yeah.
There was a
What?
guy
Who
from
teaches that?
How is
There was
that
a-
not a block in the back?
there was another one too earlier in the day.
Holding? I don't know what it would
That was
be,
a
but who
full-on
teaches
mugging.
that? Who teaches that?
Tried to pull the guy. Same thing happened earlier.
USC tried to blow that game too, man.
Yeah, they
Missing
did.
that 29-yard field goal or whatever with no time left, getting it blocked, high snap. I thought they were going to screw around and lose.
That was the
thing, man.
funniest hold I've ever seen.
Oh my god! Well,
That
the
little-
ball was snapped way high, and the dude was trying. It was just a clusterfuck, and I really thought USC was about to blow that thing. They should have.
That QB for Arizona is a player now.
That dude is a player, man. I liked what I saw out of him.
Where's he
Anyway.
transferring?
He's right. Can't wait to see him in Kentucky next year.
I bet Lincoln Riley was handing him some application forms right after the game last night. He said, "You know, Caleb's getting out of here after this year, man. We're gonna need a guy."
Utah's like, look at this Dodge Ram we've got.
Yeah, no shit.
Whole
They
team
got
got
out.
Dodges.
Yeah, I know that, but they probably got out cheaper doing that than they did having people pay, trying to pay the players, right? They're leasing those things.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's the move.
Mm.
That's the move.
absolutely.
Getting a sweet deal on that one.
It'd be a good
Anyways.
time to be a college football player. Is all I'm saying.
It would.
This is
It
yeah.
would. Now's the time.
back in my day.
Yeah.
Back in our day, we got
Cam
suspended
Newton's
for whole
dad.
seasons for stuff like that.
Yeah, he wouldn't have to do all those $100,000 handshakes and
I'm gonna have to go back to school.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
You got
Been working
eligibility
out.
left? Got some eligibility?
got some Al Bundy. Al Bundy, like he went back.
I probably have some, and if they told me I could play, I'd say, "No, y'all just hang on to that eligibility. I believe that ship sailed."
Yep. Did you guys see that video of Marshawn Lynch talking about when Aaron Rodgers handed him the ball behind his back? He said his first opportunity at Cal, he ran the wrong way coming out of the backfield, and Rodgers handed him the ball sort of with his other hand, and then ran over to the sideline, told the coach it was his fault. Between that and the Mr. Pfizer thing, I might be back in on Aaron Rodgers.
Mm.
I like
And-
Aaron Rodgers.
And Aaron Rodgers put out some photos of him rehabbing his Achilles, but they were all in dark mode. So he's doing a darkest retreat rehab.
Is
Yeah.
that serious?
I suppose you gotta get the Dolphins in the mood.
They're all in black and white.
Well, he's all talking like, most of the time people would still be in a boot. He's out of the boot. Like, what's he pushing for?
He wants to play
I
this
mean,
year.
he is
Yeah,
out of the
but-
boot really early. Usually the boot's on there for like 6 or 8 weeks. But
I can see him
that's
coming back
general.
and just like being a statue, not being able to move and throwing like, I don't know. Salah might do anything to save his job at this point.
Yep. Oh, he could run a quick release West Coast offense, dump it off to Brees Hall, Tyler Conklin, etc.
You don't
Yeah,
need
I mean-
two legs,
And I
No.
still think Aaron Rodgers with only one leg is better than Zach Wilson with two.
Yep. 2014, he almost took us to the Super Bowl on one leg, except the
Hey,
worst
ask
debacle of all time.
ask the Swifties, Cricket, what they
Fuck
think
the
about Zach
Swifties.
Wilson. They think he's the greatest ever.
I can't stand the Swifties and they're ruining football.
They think Pat Mahomes is awful.
Well,
Yeah,
I wonder if
I
it'd be
don't know any song. If you asked me if it was a Taylor Swift song, I couldn't tell you. But all week, random songs have popped in my head, and my fiance is like, "That's Taylor Swift," and I'm like, and I'm walking around the house singing these songs.
Yeah.
No idea where they came from, and they're all Taylor Swift songs.
Because they're
It's
putting
a-
witch
it's an
doctor
epidemic.
spells. They're putting
It's
witch
what?
doctor spells on you. Witch doctor spells through the
telling
TV,
you.
man. They're
It's an
frying your
epidemic.
brain. They're planting this shit in your head. They're trying to take over, man.
It's got to
over
be
it.
some kind of subliminal messaging because her music is no better than 10 other pretty blonde girls who sing about breaking up. I don't
Right.
understand.
She's
I never
she's been
understood the
doing it
appeal.
since she's been so young. So I think she just kind of snowballed her audience from a young age, and just brought those
I'm just
people
saying.
along with them.
I feel bad for Travis because realistically, she's using him. Okay, she was
Mm.
starting to fade into the abyss of middle age singers who just fall off after they're hot, and now she's using Travis to get the stardom back on her. That's what it is. It's attention seeking.
I think it's working out pretty well for both of them. They're both getting some pretty good pub in this thing. Any woman that's got to
Better
write that
hope
many
the
songs
missus
about
don't hear
breakups.
you saying that, David. She's gonna come storming in there. Oh, she needs the publicity.
Did you see Travis Kelce's mom interview when they asked her about her? They
I
said,
heard.
"What was
No.
it like being up there with her?" And she was like, "It was fine."
Yeah, it was.
fine.
She
It
said
was
it was okay. Yeah, it was okay. I was like, she don't like that bitch.
Yeah, she does not
Nope.
like her.
Nope, she sees right through it. Trying to get to her little boy and break his heart. And here we are talking about
think he'll
Taylor
be all
Swift.
right.
What happened?
See, this is what happens
So-
every day.
Yep.
We got to
Saints
get back
at
on
Patriots.
track.
Cricket, tell us about Saints at Patriots. Juwan Johnson out. Matthew Judon, IR with the bicep. That's a kill shot for the Patriots. Worst loss in Bill's career last week. The Saints, I learned this morning, have gone 10 straight, scoring fewer than 21 points. So this is just a stoppable force versus a movable object.
I think this is probably a lock in on the under, man. Both these defenses are pretty solid. Now, the Patriots defense, like you said, going to be a little depleted today. Christian Gonzalez is also out. Their stud rookie cornerback there. This is another weird one for me, man. I just don't see Belichick after his worst loss of his career coming in and not being prepared, ready to go for this thing, man. If he does come in today and doesn't show up, doesn't have a good game plan going, then I'll be able to start saying maybe the Belichick train is coming to an end, But I haven't seen a whole lot out of the Saints offensively that tells me I'm probably not going to bet a side in this thing. If I'm going away, I'm probably locking in on the under. And it ain't going to be very high, but I don't care.
Big Daddy One Outlaw. That's a name right there. Hello, can I get a high? You can. Hi, Big Daddy
Hi.
One Outlaw. I love that.
What's up, brother?
Maybe this is another no first touchdown game. I don't know. It's going to be ugly. It's at New England, so they won't have the dome on their side. I wonder if Belichick tries to take Kamara or Olave away. He doesn't have Rodriguez, right? The star rookie corner. He's
Yeah.
out.
And Judon, I think they're both out.
Gonzalez? You talking about Gonzalez?
Oh,
Christian
sorry.
Gonzalez?
That's a terrible, terrible.
Yeah, but the
mistake on
Saints
my
have
part.
they don't know who their quarterback's going to be. Is Carr playing today, or is it going to be
Oh
Winston?
man, I hope not.
Either
I don't
way,
know
I
that
think
it matters.
Belichick's licking his chops. I can't believe that they were a favorite at home in this spot. I think the line moved back. They're now they were a dog at home in this.
Yeah,
spot.
they were a dog early on. I think they were getting one. I think it's flipped back the other way. I think they're giving up about one right now.
Yeah, I like the Patriots for sure.
I think I
It's
do too. Man. I
Pats-
just don't see Bill getting embarrassed 2 weeks in a row.
Patriots minus 1.5 at home. Yeah.
The
Oh, and it's
Saints have
creepy.
got a pretty good defense against pass and run.
The Saints got one of the best
Yeah.
defenses in the league. But
And-
that Patriots
and they-
D ain't no slouch either.
That's what I'm
Tampa
saying.
Bay,
And
though.
yeah, the Patriots too. Sheesh.
Tampa Bay went into New Orleans and made them look pretty.
Oh, that's
stupid.
Baker Mayfield, man.
Yeah,
Still.
Baker, man. My little
Division
Baker
game
Mayfield.
on the road. Those don't happen very often like that.
I got to get a sack like it's 4th and goal. I'm going to put that in my.
Speaking of sacks, that guy from Rutgers that took one to the pills.
Oh,
Did you see that
the
video?
cameraman.
I said the QB almost avoided a sack.
Oh yeah. I did see the guy got hit with the balls, right? With the football.
Said, go Nuckers.
Did y'all see in the Army Boston College game yesterday, the quarterback breaks out and he's going to break. It's probably going to be for a touchdown, man. He goes to cut outside and there's this big ref in the way, and the ref's trying to get out of the way, and the dude runs right into the back of the ref and falls way backwards. It was going to be 6 if the ref didn't get in his way, and the ref never even flinched. He was like, "Oh shit, my bad, bro." But yeah, he got lit up by the ref yesterday.
Oh, that's rough. There were some bad beats in college football yesterday.
You know what wasn't bad?
Sorry for everybody who had Mizzou.
Michigan. Michigan's still whooping everybody.
Boy, Michigan's good, buddy. Oh, the Georgia Bulldogs finally showed up with everybody down on. I was like, you guys got to be careful. That big red machine will get rolling here in a minute.
Man,
just wait for it.
I'm about to turn off notifications about OSU football because every week I'm getting upset alert, and then they end up rolling in the second half.
I was going to say, y'all, nobody can play a close game, turn it into a blowout like you guys can.
Hey, who wore it better, the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky or the Maryland Terrapins? Because they wore like the same exact uniform.
Yeah, they look. I like Maryland's little creativeness they use up there, though. Man.
I like Maryland's use.
I like Baby Tua, man. He played well yesterday. They were just obviously out talented, and then the depth of Ohio State would eventually get to them. But hey, they came in there and played. They played strong. They did get that stupid field goal at the end. Got me screwed though. I had Maryland plus 17, and I was like, maybe I'll get out of here with the push. I was feeling real good at halftime. Maybe I'll just get out of here with the push. No, let's get the trash field goal.
Yep, rough.
Hey, interesting factoid real quick about the game that's on right now. Calvin Ridley has more rushes than he has receptions.
Yeah, I saw he got that end around.
They did it twice.
He had a great game week 1, and we basically haven't heard from him since. He's on pace for like less than 40 receptions this year.
They got too many weapons. Crazy. They got too many weapons. Too many mouths to feed down there between Christian Kirk when Zay Jones gets back, Evan Ingram having a good year. You got Calvin Ridley, NTN, Tanks Bigsby's even getting some carries inside the red zone. So there's just a lot of mouths to feed out there. And on top of that, Trevor Lawrence ain't throwing the football real good.
Oh, he is today. He's over here.
Yeah, baby, let's go.
They have a lot of drops. There's a stat out there on Trevor Lawrence's drops that are, I think they had like 8 drops last game.
Oh, okay. Is that what's going on there?
That's what's going on. Calvin Ridley's got the drops. I've watched him a few times. I'm like, dude,
Well, I hope they fixed it. I went heavy on 3 quarterbacks in fantasy this year. It was Trevor Lawrence as my stud, and my backups, my late round guys, Kenny Pickett, because I'm a Steelers guy and I was hopeful, and Baker Mayfield. So far, I mean, I got the Baker Mayfield right.
Yeah, hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I was with you on the Kenny Pickett train too, man. I was pulling for tiny hands to come in and have a big year too. I wanted to hear Pickett to Pickens all year long.
Hey, back to Ridley real quick. We all know he's dropping balls, so his unders hit.
Yep.
He's got somebody putting them bets in.
Yeah.
Oh no! Don't you start stirring that pot, Steps. Give that man a break. He's paid his dues. He's back in society. Leave him alone.
Hey,
it's a lot sneakier to get the unders than the overs. Yeah. And I mean, he's dropping balls that these metrics nerds are deeming catchable. So
you're telling me he was that big of a recruit coming out of high school? He went to Alabama, caught all those balls. Now he just all of a sudden can't catch.
What's going to be great when we find out when he's betting the overs on all his totals and he's screwing himself. That's what we're going to be like. You can't suspend the man for fucking himself.
I need Chris to hit that button.
Even worse, he's not doing it on purpose. He's just nervous. Man, I gotta catch these. Oh no.
Yep. Oh, my bad.
That's a real shame. Whoops.
You had a whole year to practice. What are you doing?
We'll get him next time.
So Tank Bigsby in the red zone, huh?
Nice.
Speaking of which, well, no, somebody said that they've been giving him carries there. They do have a 1st and goal on the 5 now.
The Bills
sacked him.
The Bills sacked him on 3rd and 6 and gave him a new set it down on 1st and goal.
So they didn't quite sack him because he was able to
throw the ball.
Away.
Yeah.
Now I couldn't hear if they had blown the whistle. I have it on mute, but
it looked like they had stopped the play because they had him low
Yeah.
on his legs.
That's what I thought.
Please.
But the
was-
Jags lineman, I don't know who went down, but there's a lineman down for the Jags that's carted off the field.
Oh, you hate to see that. That only increases the chances Leonard Floyd gets back there and actually gets a sack. Are we starting any? I mean, who are we playing in this Patriots game? Ramondre,
Oh shit!
complete
Milano.
letdown lately.
Isn't he
I just saw
questionable?
that too.
He was injured last I saw.
Who? Milano?
Ramondre?
Ramondre.
If he's out, do you take a flyer on Zeke?
Ooh.
I haven't seen anything about him being out or questionable.
Okay.
He's still in all of
He
the
was
books
limited.
as far as
It
that
was a
goes.
thigh injury, but yeah, they're not worried about him missing. I just saw the queue and I was like, wait a minute.
You got
A
to start
quandary about Ramondre. That's all.
a Ramondre quandary.
That's
You
a
got
good
to
fantasy name.
you got to start Chris Olave, even though last week he had like 3 or 4 points because he's Chris Olave. And Kamara, 13 catches, a whole 33 yards last week.
Yeah.
Jeez.
How do you do that? 13 catches for 33 yards. I was like, am I reading
Listen,
this?
I'll
right?
take that in a PPR league.
Right? That's
Absolutely.
like
Give
the
it to
most
me.
weird, skewed way to get it, but you get it.
He didn't
Yeah.
get in the end zone and still had like 21 paid, 11 carries, 51 yards, 13 catches for 33 yards. I'll take that stat line every week. I don't even need you getting pay dirt.
I've seen worse. I just saw a stat yesterday. And it's one of my favorite stat lines I've ever seen. It was Jerome Bettis, 5 carries, -1 rushing yard, 3 touchdowns.
That's
Ooh,
awesome.
Who does he
sounds
think
like-
he is? Latavius Murray?
Yeah, right?
Right?
That's what you say. Yeah. Is Latavius Murray the new Jerome Bettis?
We had another injury. Injuries all over the place in this one.
Milano.
No.
Yeah, Milano was
That's-
limping
Oh,
off.
that's
That's
big
not
time.
good.
He
Yeah,
got
that's
what?
big deal
Started
there.
off?
Nah, he was helped off though.
Okay. Yeah, that dude's
Lose
a player,
Trey
man.
White and Milano. You got problems.
So for
Absolutely.
the Patriots, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who you. Hunter Henry, obviously, you could play.
That'd be my best bet.
Hunter Henry for them. I mean,
Who's their
I-
number
and on-
one receiver? And
Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, I was
Kendrick
gonna
Bourne,
say, it's Kendrick
name
Bourne.
name another one because I saw a good prop.
Juju.
on
You got
under.
Devontae.
Devontae
Devontae.
Parker. You got a bunch of
Yeah.
really old guys running around out there.
I think his under receiving yards was like 36.5 or something.
God, give me a little less than 1% for Hunter Henry on DraftKings.
Yeah, you
Oh,
have
man,
a ton of
that's-
players on that
Yeah.
team. who
Roll
have
it in,
the-
roll it in
like-
flour and cornflakes and deep fried. Serve it to me covered in gravy.
That
That
sounds
You have
sounds
a bunch of receivers up
delicious.
there who have basically been like, they had a year or they have all this potential. Like we've heard about Devontae Parker's breakout season, and they had one so far,
Oh.
but
He just
then he
can't
went
stay
right back to just being mediocre again.
If you haven't been wrong about Devontae Parker at least once, you're not even playing fantasy football.
I agree. 100%.
Coward.
Honestly, all three of those guys, Kendrick Bourne, Devontae Parker, and Juju, you've been gambling on those dudes for years anyway. So I don't think you can, comfortably start any of those guys at any point in time.
Henry,
No,
Kamara,
if
and
Juju
Olave.
doesn't- Yeah, if
That's who
Juju
you're
doesn't
playing.
go to a team that has somebody like, Stephon Diggs or something, like he did great as the number 2 receiver when he wasn't getting enough attention thrown his way.
Yeah.
He's just not a number 1 receiver. He's one of them backup guys who needed an all-star to break out.
And
Yes.
they're dudes that have had a lot of injury problems too. All three of those guys. They're usually missing 4 or 5 games at least a year.
He's got 33 or fewer in 10 of 16 games with New England. So,
Wow.
and Lattimore
That was a
might be on him too.
Beautiful
So.
catch.
Oh yeah, you get Lattimore on you got issues.
Oh,
Well-
what's the flag?
Yeah, what is the flag?
That makes Michael Thomas very interesting. Let me.
I
Yes.
like Michael Thomas a lot, dude. I think you should pile. They got his receiving totals every week at like 50.5. I think we were talking about it yesterday, Eric. He is
Yep.
going over that religiously until they adjust those numbers. I think you should be on Michael Thomas's over because they're doubling Chris Olave in spots. They got to honor Alvin Kamara now. I think you should be piling on the over Michael
Ooh.
Thomas.
They got to
receiving
leave their
yards.
safety back for Rashid Shaheed.
Yep,
Oh, God.
That dude's fast.
That dude can fly.
Shit.
he can fly, bro. I like
Enter
that.
the inner Shaq GIF meme. Shit.
Yep. That dude is quick.
Love that guy.
Well-
yes, Michael Thomas, 4,900, less than 3% or 3% ownership on draft.
Oh, that's good stuff. Speaking of
Yeah.
top of the hour, it's time to build the DFS lineup in the tenacious DFS pick of destiny picks. Multiple.
Let's go.
Now,
Speaking of, do you have the thing this week again? I've been entering that every week.
Oh yeah.
the
I'll put
$1
it in the,
contest.
yes. Let's go. The DraftKings Wodamaker Millie Goats Bonanza for $1.
Yep.
I'll send it to you. Did we talk about the Wilson Bowl? Russell Wilson versus Zach Wilson? Oh, guys, we have to come up with the Castaway Trophy of Wilson to bequeath to the winner of this game.
That's a great idea.
You want to be a dirty little gremlin? You listen to our show, and I'm going to play Zach Wilson. I'm playing him. He's down there below Tyrod Taylor on the pricing.
So you giving out classic? What are you giving out? Classic or what kind of game style?
Classic 10-game slate.
Yeah, the classic 10-game slate. I'll put it in the Wake and Rake thing. And if you're listening, go join. It's a lot of fun. We'll roast you no matter if you win or not on our show.
Yeah.
So Zay Jones just high pointed the hell out of this T-Law ball for a touchdown.
That's what I'm talking about. Who played Zay?
And they got a roughing the passer. So they got to go to the 1 for the extra point and went for 2 with ETN and got it.
Oh,
one of my upsets is currently looking okay. I did take the Jags over the Bills.
That's what I'm talking about, Zay Jones.
Oh yeah, I got Jaguars. That was my upset of the week, baby. I need them to go ahead and pull that thing out.
This is a home game for the Bills. If they lose, their home streak ends. Home game.
Sure.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd even count.
Oh, they absolutely. If they don't, we're going to beat them over the head with it and say this is a home loss. Bills Mafia. They lost a step.
We only had to travel 2,000 miles to play at home.
I chose the Jags as well, but that wasn't my upset of the week. I mean, it's an upset, obviously, but my favorite one is actually the Rams over the Eagles.
I love it.
Yes.
Love it. Love
yes.
it. I'm with you, David. Tell us about it, man. Preach that noise.
You get real freaking naughty.
I said coming into the year that the defense, the defense of the Eagles, the front 7 was going to look better, but the back half, they just had too much change back there, and I didn't think that they'd be able to. I think by the end of the season they'll be fine, but at the beginning of the season you could pass on them. And what can the Rams do? I mean, Puka Nacua, they're just going to throw it to him 15, 20 times a game. So even with Cooper Kupp, that's even worse now. That's even that's even crazier.
Pick your poison.
Yeah. And then and that honestly, I think that's why Kyron Williams is having success. I'm not a huge Kyron Williams guy. I don't think he's great. But when you have that many people, you have to commit to all those receivers. And Matthew Stafford's slinging it all over the place. Of course, you're going to have to. Kyron Williams is going to go off because everybody's dropping back.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a shootout. I think both teams can score in this game a lot. But I think the only way the Eagles actually win is if they finally wake up their passing game because they're sticking to the run hard. If they can wake up their passing game and do what they were doing by the end of last year, then they can still win this game against the Rams. But otherwise, I think it's the Rams game.
Philly's pass defense is atrocious. By the way. They can't.
I think Rams are going to have trouble up front. I think with their front 7, and Stafford's got a little bit of a hip issue
coming out
too.
quick. If you're a PPR guy, fill up Puka Nacua and Koopa.
Oh, I got Puka and Cooper stacked in a couple leagues today, man. I need them both. I just want to see screens like crazy.
I mean, they Philly gives it up. And Matt Stafford loves nothing more than to drop down to 40 different arm angles and throw stupid bubble screens all across the field.
Looking like a shortstop.
Yep. You are not incorrect. And
I like how Kyler Murray is still 5,900 in DraftKings when he's out.
Right.
What defenses are you looking at this week, AK? Because I'm scrolling through them and I don't think I like any of them.
I got a sneaky one for y'all.
Let's hear it.
Look at that Arizona Cardinals defense today, man. The Bengals have not scored a touchdown on the road. We still got Joey Buckets banged up. There's all kind of problems up there. T. Higgins, even if he's not banged up, wanting to trade and all that stuff. They just don't look very good right now, especially on the road. I think they've scored 6 points on the road so far. I'm liking that Cardinals defense. I think that'll be a sneaky one. I don't think a lot of people will be playing that today.
You know,
I like
another
Cardinals.
possibility is the only good part about this team so far has been the Panthers defense. Now you're looking at no Amon-Ra, no Gibbs.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be surprised if this is a low scoring game, which is what makes me worry about the minus 9, minus 10 line for the Lions without their star receiver.
That's a good point. It feels like it could be like a 21-14, 21-17 game or something.
Now, I'm not going to go them. I'm going to go the Patriots defense probably.
That's not a bad call either.
Yeah, Patriots defense looks good.
Fantasy football Joker is here. Litmus test on how bad Najee has been. Should I flex him, Josh Downs, or Michael Gallup? Full PPR. I was looking through some statistics last night. Najee Harris has more 15-plus yard runs than any other running back. I don't understand how that's happening.
He gets like 8 carries a game.
I haven't seen them. When have they happened?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Every time I watch, he takes a loss.
He hits the butt of the lineman.
If you're looking for a cheap defense too, the Titans at Indianapolis. I mean, I know they got Jonathan Taylor back, but Mike Vrabel has a tendency. He has a tendency to dirty these games up so disgustingly bad that you don't want to watch.
Yeah,
great run defense.
Great, yeah.
Do you think that forces the ball to Josh Downs? Would you start Josh Downs over Najee or Michael Gallup, or is that getting too cute?
I think you're being.
I don't know if Anthony Richardson has the volume yet. I don't know. There's Michael Gallup. I would still play with Najee because that's going to be volume.
Even if Richardson gets 40, he's only going to complete 17 of them. So,
and Michael Gallup's going to be playing against the 49ers defense. So I think you got to be kind of careful there. I think you probably just that's a tough spot, bro. But I think you probably just roll with Najee and hope for the best.
I would.
You hope for a touchdown with Najee.
Yeah. I hope you get a
1-yard run.
Hold on. Let me give you some in-depth. Give me a second. I'll pull it up. Let's get dirty here. Let's get down in the muck.
Let's get down in the trenches here.
While you're pulling that up, Burrow. I was reading about Burrow. He's like his all-in-one metric stats. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league right now, which is surprising. I mean, obviously
playing on one leg.
Their line sucks. So like, kind of like Arizona maybe on the money line. I don't know what their money line is.
I'm all over that, dude.
And they're a top 6 offense in passing and rushing, which is crazy.
They look good, bro. They look sneaky good.
And we talked about Josh Dobbs rushing yards.
They don't look good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely is. They don't look good. They look respectable, and I didn't even expect to see them be respectable this year.
Yeah. No one did.
So the last 2 games against the Ravens, Najee Harris has averaged 72 total yards and a touchdown.
Put him in. Lock him in. That's a good day for you.
Yep. Final answer, Najee.
I feel like if you get that out of Najee today, you're a winner, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's points in the teens. You're good to go at that point.
That was that little Hall of Fame bets quick search there too.
That's a sweet little app.
I love that.
Yeah, I like that.
You got a code people can use for that?
Millie Goats. Get your first month.
That's easy.
50% off.
Easy to remember.
What was it called again, AK? One more time.
Hall of Fame bets. I'm still learning it. So Hall of Fame bets app.
Seems like a great way to look at trends and things like that. You can set a lot of different parameters.
You literally can look at. It's unbelievable.
I used to use covers for a lot of my trends and stuff, but they've changed that side up a lot. And I don't like the way you got to navigate through that thing now. I just don't like what they did to that. I liked it way better the way it was before.
Yeah, and they give you edges versus the odds. Like it's like Joe Mixon over 68.5 is plus 34 edge, minus 125 odds. So
Bills
like
look
that.
flat.
Oh no, it's home game. Get out the mustard. They probably have Bijan.
Jags just converted a third down.
Let's go.
They're in territory. They just crossed the 50 on my TV.
No.
So.
But here's the defenses Tex had. Tex had the Dolphins, the Lions, and the Texans. Now those are a little pricey, but that's who he's our defensive specialist.
I like the Lions. I mean, you could just fade Bryce Young every week and be all right, I think. That kid is struggling.
Did they score an offensive touchdown last week?
I don't think so.
Sure. No, they had the pick 6, and then they scored 13, right? It was 17-13.
Yeah, I don't think he threw a touchdown or anything.
Yeah, every chance they had to score any points, he would fumble or something.
Yeah.
So He's got to learn to protect the football down in the red area, man. You got to take those 3 points. It's so valuable in the NFL, so valuable. And right there, it changed that whole game. If you make it 16-7, just hold on to the football, get the field goal, make it 16-7 right there. That's a big difference in 14-13.
He's such a little dude.
God, he is tiny.
I have built a lineup. You tell me what you think about this.
Let's go.
A to the K. This isn't my Zach Wilson lineup. I have Pat Mahomes, Breece Hall, Tajay Spears, KJ Osborne, Rashid Shaheed, Devonta Smith, Travis Kelce, Zay Flowers, and the Jets.
Okay. I like that.
Nobody has that.
Start with Pat Mahomes, because I want to know. There was a prop for him for 4 touchdown passes. It was like plus 550. Can that happen?
That game's going to be a shootout.
Can that happen?
I think it can, man. He played so bad last week. Patrick Mahomes is the ultimate competitor, man. He probably ain't slept hardly all week long thinking about that game he had on Sunday Night Football last week. He's going to come out and try to show out today. I really like the Vikings in this game, though, because that line keeps creeping down and looking funny to me. But I'm like AK, man. I think it's going to be a shootout for sure.
Yep. I'm looking up last 20 games to see how many times he's thrown for.
What y'all think about this lineup right here? I'm going to give it to you real quick. This is DraftKings. Quarterback Josh Dobbs, running back Alvin Kamara, running back Isaiah Pacheco. My wide receivers are Jordan Addison, had a bad game last week, didn't even have a catch. I think he's going to bounce back this week in that shootout. Wide receiver Michael Thomas, wide receiver Tyreek Hill, tight end Hunter Henry, flex Devin Achane, and then the defense, the Cardinals D.
I like the Cardinals.
I think we have a lot of the same thought process there, man. I have several of the same. I have Hill and Michael Thomas as well as A-Chain in the flex. I have Tua with Hill, though. I think they're going to – I think
they're going to score, man. I'm with you. I think they're going to score today.
And then I have Breece Hall and Bijan as my running backs. I have Rashee Rice as my other wide receiver.
I like that. Yeah, that's sneaky. They're going to
get more and more targets.
And he can catch a 70-yard touchdown if he ain't careful.
Yeah, Detroit's
Rashee, repeat.
I think Detroit's big weakness has been, they haven't really shown that much of a weakness on defense, but it's been to tight ends. So I threw in Hayden Hurst as my tight end.
Okay. Sneaky. I like it, man.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, Hayden Hurst
is good.
He's been a favorite of the little guy back there.
What D did you roll with, David?
I went with the Patriots.
Patriots? Okay.
Like it.
Yeah. If Derek Carr plays, that's a great pick because I can't believe they put him out there last week. I thought it was going to be Jameis all the way until like 11:30. All of a sudden I hear on the radio that Carr is likely to play. I'm like, I saw him get his shoulder driven into the ground.
We all got to start sharing this contest. Like get it started earlier in the week so I could share it or something. Because I don't ever think about it till just now.
I try to put it. I start
200 people.
We can do it. I started on Wednesday. That's when I don't know when Butch creates it, but it's sometime around Tuesday or Wednesday, and then I start trying to pump it.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you've shared it on Twitter. I'm learning to check my Twitter for notifications and things like that. But yeah, let's all share that thing. We'll get that thing juiced up pretty good.
Let's go,
so
baby.
Twitter, up until I went to the expo, actually, I never ever paid attention to my Twitter. It felt dirty to tell people I was tweeting anything, so it just sounds dirty.
Bro,
but
it's excellent.
I got to get on there more as well. I thought about posting some of my picks, whether I win or lose throughout the week for my bets and stuff like that.
Man, I wasn't even part of the Twitterverse until July of this year, and I realized with my job and everything, Twitter's the best way to get all that stuff out there, man. There's just so many people on it. If you're going to do something like this, you got to have it.
Yep.
Baseball's been killing me lately. I've hit 3 out of 4 every day of the playoffs so far.
That's good.
Oh, I went 0 for you.
3-1.
Right, but I do it as a parlay, so it doesn't.
The big thing on our morning show is Fade Cricket's MLB picks, and the people made a lot of money off that through like July and everything. Well, I went 4-0 the other day on my guy Heavy Steps advice and thing. That's our baseball guy right there. And then yesterday I was feeling a little frisky and threw it in the last day. Yeah, let's do it. I went 0 for 4, man. We're still fading Cricket's MLB picks.
Stay on the course. Fade the picks.
Minnesota Twins today. Okay, back to football.
Well, this one's going to be fun. Giants at Dolphins. Our buddy Elio's going to be in the stands. He's probably down there
nice.
pounding beers right now.
We need to
Tron
get Will
Armstead-
on for this one. This is his. He's put his flag on the 50-yard line on the Giants. This
Yep.
is his play.
He's got the Giants money line. I think it's plus 525. Not bad.
He's crazy.
Now
He
he's
is.
now he's in a closet somewhere calling it a darkness retreat.
Yeah,
Ron
yeah,
Armstead
he
is on the IR. That's going to be a problem for the Miami line. Armstead, one of the better linemen in the league. Andrew Thomas out with a hamstring for the Giants. I don't know how big of a deal that is. Saquon's a game time decision, but we all know he's going to play.
I don't know, man.
He was standing there last week watching them get debacled, just like, man, I should be out there. I should.
One thing I do know is Miami's team total last week versus the Bills was 26.5. It's 30.5 this week. So I just don't see the Giants being able to keep up with that. The line's at what? 13 now? I think it's moving.
Yep, 13, 47 total. I mean, the Dolphins can give you 37.
For my DFS,
possibly.
I try not to. I'll have one same team people normally as my quarterback and one of his weapons. This is the first time I've ever thrown 3 people from the same team, and it's because I don't have any fear of them not being able to score against the Giants.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Resteem engine this week, AK? Is he going to
I love
get
the
some
Resteem engine.
I mean, Devon Achani has been sort of stealing the spotlight lately.
He's going to be one of the higher projected running. He's a top 5 projected running back ownership wise in DraftKings. And then the little Resteem engine that is just sitting down there around 4%.
How about that catch he had last week?
Oh my gosh.
Down the
sideline.
sideline.
Moss start.
Right?
Moss start. Hey, Kevin, you're just a treasure trove of these names and little quips and things. I love it.
Yeah, the fantasy footballers wish they could come up with the shit you come up with.
Wait, he wasn't here for Chris Reynolds earlier.
Craig Reynolds.
Craig.
What happened to Craig?
Really, Mick?
I'm starting Craig Reynolds today.
I don't know who he was.
Eric got put in a tight spot, and now he's got to throw Craig Reynolds out there. Feeling real good about it. And Steps had no idea that guy even played in the NFL.
I don't know.
Craig Reynolds, the old, what is he, third running back on Detroit?
Second today.
You're right. Like Craig Reynolds.
That just means David Montgomery's going to have 45 carries now instead of 32.
I'm still waiting on all of the things Detroit. Like I said, I saw that Amon-Ra wants to play. He said he hit his fastest speed this week, and I think it was on Friday he said it. And it's now at least on the bottom line here on the screen, it's saying that Gibbs is now questionable instead of doubtful. So I'm waiting until they tell me those 2 are out before I even mess with my lineups.
Yeah, I think Dan Campbell is definitely a guy that likes some smoke and mirrors there.
He's playing a little chess.
If they're both out, that plays a huge part in it.
Maybe that's why the line is still -9. Maybe Vegas
and that's also why I didn't go with Carolina's defense for the DFS instead, because I don't know who is actually playing and who isn't.
Do y'all think the line goes down if they're out? I mean, obviously it's supposed to, but I would have think if they've been listed as doubtful, they would already kind of moved that thing and then maybe moved it back up when they weren't going to play. You think they're going to let it affect it at all?
I think it already moved down. It was 10-9.
I think
10. It moved down.
Okay, I hadn't seen it higher than 9.5. I didn't know it was higher than that.
Yep.
Like 7.5, probably the lowest it would go. Don't you think it wouldn't go down to or below?
No, I think it'll stay. No. I think it'll stay where it's at.
That kind of makes me want to be on Detroit in that thing, man. If they're not afraid to move that line,
I think Vegas already knows who's playing, who's healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since they partnered with these books, I assume there's a guy in the training room who is directly connected with MGM and so forth, telling us, hey, don't put those Craig Reynolds props up there. We're going to get killed.
Don't you dare put those up there, man. Yeah, no, I think you got to have one of those guys, man. How else can you set those lines and factor that stuff in unless you've got somebody making a phone call every week and being like, hey, man, this guy is probably more likely not to play and all that stuff. It just, I don't know. You see some funny stuff there.
Is there any laws?
Zach Wilson.
Laws? As far
laws?
as
What are you talking about, Steps? What were you about to jump at? Laws
like
on what?
Laws as far as like, yeah, like the books getting that inside,
Nah, man. I
like,
think
what if
that? Well, you got to figure.
Would it be illegal for them to have a connection, like a legit connection inside every organization where they share that information?
I don't think so, because if you're a doctor, you're technically speculating anyway only person that really knows. I mean, unless the actual guy that's hurt is telling you maybe, but those doctors are just making their best educated guess and trying to tell you what they think is going to happen between now and then. So I don't know that you can really bust anybody's balls over that.
Yep, that feels like a big old gray area. I mean, hockey is still telling people upper body, lower body. They're not even specifying what the injury is.
Yeah.
And they're getting
My
away
whole
with
body
that.
hurts.
Yep.
I just built a dirty little Zach Wilson lineup.
Let's go.
What do we got?
Zach Wilson, James Conner, the Resteem engine, Tank Dell. I mean, I love locomotion apparently on this lineup.
Yep.
Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Laporta, Rashi, and then the Lions defense.
Nice. Hey, Laporte is a machine.
Oh my gosh.
He looks like a
I love
third-year
that guy.
tight end.
I love that guy, man.
Beam me up, Scotty.
They keep projecting him low too, man. He's the number 2 tight end fantasy. I don't know why they keep projecting him like 9-point-something points. That dude's putting up double digits every single week. He's usually in the teens, man. If he gets a touchdown, he gets you up there in that 20 spot.
Yeah. I mean, I've been searching for a tight end for my dynasty team for a couple of years now. I'm thinking about just paying everything for Sam Laporta because Chigakonkwo and Luke Musgrave not really cutting it.
I don't know, man. If you're thinking about for dynasty leagues and tight ends, you might want to just hold off and bet the farm on Brock Bowers next year when he comes out, because that dude's going to be a monster.
Oh man, he's out there making.
He's a system tight end. He's a system tight end.
Yeah, and he can play in anybody's system.
Are they not? They're not talking Heisman with him, are they?
I took a little flyer on Brock Bowers doing the Heisman the other day at 70-1. I was like,
that's a good bet.
I was like, if nobody ever really separates themselves and they're the best team in the country, why not give it to the best player on the best team in the country? That guy's the best player in college football. I know he's not a quarterback and all that stuff, but that guy is the best player in college football. And if that's what the award's supposed to be, I'll take 70-1 to take a shot at that.
Yep.
Has the tight end ever won it?
No.
We've
only had 2 receivers winning. It was Devontae Smith and Desmond Howard. That's the only 2 receivers you've ever even had.
Has the tight end been invited? No.
Where did Taysom Hill finish that one year?
He was a quarterback, though. you can't count that he's a tight end now. He was a quarterback then.
We're talking fantasy football. Like, all the gloves are off.
He wouldn't run a whole lot of routes out of BYU.
No.
Bill's
I got to go. My wife's about to
All
leave.
right.
Sorry.
Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you, brother. Good luck today.
This was a lot. Go Niners. It's going to be an absolute molly-whopping, a good old-fashioned Donnybrook. The Niners are going to kick them up and down the field, and then everybody's going to be complaining about Dak after the game.
Great. Go under.
I love a good Donnybrook on a Sunday. Thanks, AK. We'll see you next time.
Join the contest. Get the big third down hat.
That's right.
It's always a big third down.
Good luck to everybody.
See you guys.
I'm actually going to go eat some breakfast in between this one and the start sit as well. I did want to have a little side note here. I have 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years in my dynasty league. It was a rebuild team. However, due to these Texans wide receivers, I am actually 2-2 on the season in a rebuild year with 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years.
I'm with you, man. I inherited a terrible dynasty team too, man. And they're like 5 or 6 years in. I've completely revamped. I've got Puka, Nico, Anthony Richardson, Jameer when he figures it the fuck out. But yeah, I'm building for the future too, man. I get it.
So I have 2 that like I'm new to dynasty, but I picked up 2 that are just completely, they were terrible, that I've been working on fixing, and I right away went for the future because I knew that like there was nothing I could do immediately. But again, that one's already looking to pay dividends at 2-2. I'm technically, if the season ended today, in the 6th playoff spot. So I do have another one where I did the opposite. I've sold off my future assets because it's a win now team. I mean, it's stacked.
Yeah. You do got to win. Some of those win now dynasties, man. You definitely got to take advantage in those spots because the window may close pretty quick.
Yep. Yeah, you got to go.
I'm gonna head off here, grit some food, and then I'll see you guys for the start.
All right.
Sounds
good luck
good.
to you today, bud.
And then there were 3. Wow. Let's hit this Titans Colts game. Colts plus 2.5, 43. Burks out. Shaq Leonard out. Quiddy Pay out with a concussion. But Jonathan Taylor is back. Is he not, Cricket? How much is he going to play?
I don't know, man. I'm not sure how much. They just gave him the extension yesterday. Breaking news came through. He finally got his extension. Did. So I mean, he's getting paid now. Going to be one of the highest paid running backs in the league. I think he's going to come in motivated with a chip on his shoulder, but he's got a tough matchup in his first week back. That Titans run defense is solid. I don't know if they're even going to put Jonathan Taylor rushing props up just because they don't know either. But, I mean, this guy's still one of the best players in the league as long as he's healthy out there. He obviously adds another element to this offense. And then even if he can't go, if he should be in game shape. He should have been working out all this time. But even if he's not, Zach Moss has been a very, very nice addition to that team in the backfield while he's been out. So I like the Colts team. I don't know why this line's moving like this. I want to hear if Steps has dove into this anymore about his Colts, but I just don't know why because it opened about the other way. It was more Colts minus like 1.5, and now it's flipped all the way around to the Titans minus 2.5, and that just always sounds funny to me. But the Titans are another team just like the Bengals that have not scored a touchdown on the road yet this year. They kicked 5 field goals against New Orleans and lost 27-3 at the Browns. So I haven't seen them put one in the end zone yet. They've looked much better at home, dominating teams there. But maybe it's a road thing. Maybe, is Derrick Henry going to get the carries he's supposed to get? If he doesn't get 20-plus touches, they should still fire everybody. And, when he gets 20-plus touches, they win the game. And I don't know. This one looks funny to me, and I don't know why the line's flipping like that. But I think I might just take the Colts and buy it up to a field goal.
I agree with you. That's what I would do at this point. I was early on Tennessee, took them at +1. But at this point in time, I don't feel comfortable really taking either side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy up the Colts to +3. So then I've got a Tennessee +1 and a Colts +3 ticket. Try to middle there. Got 4 points to play with.
Yeah.
And maybe not, if I lose, I'll lose probably just a little bit, but I won't lose a whole bet because I'm not really confident in that Tennessee bet at this point. Even though you've got the injuries on the Colts side of the ball, you got, like you said, Taylor's coming back. I might look at, if they have props up yet, might look at Jonathan Taylor under on his rushing props, just because it might be a little hyped up. I don't know what kind of shape he's in. He's coming off the PUP. I don't know if he was on that just because of the contract thing.
He was on that because he wanted money. I don't think hurting that spot was his pocketbook.
Gotcha. But still, it's his first game back.
44.5.
Ooh.
44.5.
That's his rushing yard total?
Yeah.
That just almost like makes you think they're
begging
like,
you to
take
the
over.
They're begging you to take the over. He's going to wind up with like 4 carries for 10 yards. Oh man, I can't.
The problem is like he could do that in one run.
What is the over under on Michael Pittman Jr.'s receptions?
Yeah, he gets targeted a lot.
And he had a tough game last week. Didn't do a whole lot last week. I think he's going to come back out and they're going to have to focus on him a little bit more. Titans secondary is where they lack on defense, been banged up, had a lot of injuries and stuff. So Michael Pittman Jr. can find himself in some really good matchups today. And he didn't have a great game last week. I think he's going to bounce back. They're probably going to set it about 5.5.
That's what it is, 5.5.
So yeah, I think I like the over. And what's the odds on that?
-104 for the over, -126 for the under. That's interesting.
That is interesting. Man, I don't know. What's his yardage total?
Receiving yards, Michael Pittman, 59.5. So right in line with 5.5 catches.
I think I like over in the yardage more than I do the receptions because this is a guy, could catch a 30, 40-yard ball for you there. He could wind up with 3 catches for 65 yards or something like that, maybe a touchdown. 5.5 receptions is a lot, man, especially in a game that may wind up being more run-dominated. In this spot, you got Derrick Henry. It might shorten it up some, so you just may not have as many passing opportunities. If the Colts jump out early, they're always going to try to run the ball with that stud backfield they got out there and shorten the game up. So maybe the reception is a little bit of a gamble. I wouldn't be mad at you if you took the over, but I think I'd probably look at the receiving yards more than anything, going over on those.
Yeah, Pittman, I mean, he's had a lot of games with 60 receiving yards. He's clearly the number one target.
He's going to get double-digit targets today.
That could be another gross.
I can't figure out the Colts yet. They're supposed to be really bad, but they're not that bad.
I think y'all win this division, man. All 4 teams in this division sitting at 2-2 right now. Going to be a pretty interesting division down the stretch. This would be a big game for the Titans to go win, but I think it's a tall task for them. And I just think the Colts have looked like the team with the most potential to me. I mean, you went on the road to a good Baltimore Ravens team without your starting quarterback. You have the best backup quarterback in the NFL and Gardner Minshew. So even if Anthony Richardson gets banged up and goes down, you got that guy that steps in, runs the machine, doesn't turn the ball over. I think the Colts to me look like the team with the highest ceiling right now.
Yeah, we talk about the Eagles' offense not looking the same. I mean, who was their offensive coordinator last year? He's the head football coach of Indianapolis Colts right now. And look, his track record with young quarterbacks and getting the best out of them, you know, I think just kind of tells you that they're going to get better. Stroud, I do have confidence that he is for real, but can the Texans get better? Like, do they get better than they already have been so far?
The Texans don't have the Colts defense. Everybody forgets this Colts defense is a top 10 defense in the league. Yep. They will smack you in the mouth. I'm not saying the Texans won't eventually have that with the Miko down there, but right now they don't. And that's another reason I'm looking at the Colts in this division, because I think they have the best overall defense with the most complete set of weapons they can use on the offensive side of the ball, because they don't have to try to get in a shootout with you. That defense is good enough. You can get 3 touchdowns out of that team, you're usually in a good spot to win the game.
Yeah. Texans don't really have a line right now. If Tunsil and all these boys come back healthy, like November, December, when it's time to start running the ball, Pierce gets back on track. I think Houston's going to threaten for this thing. It's going to be a fun race in the AFC South. Jacksonville come back to the pack. Well, they're beating
they're looking
Bills
good right now. They're looking real good.
Bills
can't do anything.
Oh God, Bills I love that.
Anything.
you are quiet.
That's the scary thing about the Texans, though. Like you said, with all the injuries they've had up front with a rookie quarterback, that usually spells for disaster for most teams. And the fact that they've had success offensively, like they have, putting up all the points that they put up with all those injuries, because that's all anyone has talked about so far leading into these games is the offensive line and the injuries. So the fact they put up those points, like when they get healthy, they're starting to get healthy on. I think they are getting players back today. I just don't know which ones they are, but
And how many teams do you normally see try to take it easy on their rookie quarterback? Try to kind of ease him into throwing short passes like that. The Texans ain't doing that, man. They got that boy throwing at least 30 times a game, and he is slinging the pill all over the field and looking good doing it, man. Still not turning the ball over. He is one of, if not the main reason. I know they got other weapons, other great players on that team, but C.J. Stroud is the reason these guys are sitting at 2-2 right now, and even in the conversation to be in this division. Yeah. And I want to give credit where credit's due to Anthony Richardson. Everybody talks shit, man. Everybody said that guy was a bust. Had already locked it in all summer. Everybody was 100% sure that guy was a bust. That dude's a football player, man. And I think he is the future of the franchise. They drafted him to be. I don't know if he's going to be I'm not going to say he's a Hall of Fame or anything like that, but anybody that says they expect Anthony Richardson to be doing this right now is a liar. And that guy needs credit where credit's due, because he's worked hard and he's playing good ball.
He has. He's been staying. I mean, he basically lives at the facility, studying film, practicing.
That's what it takes.
Yep. That's absolutely what it takes. All right, guys. I got to make a run to the restroom. You guys talk about Bengals, Cardinals. Cardinals +3, total 45. T. Higgins, limited practice. He ain't going to play, is he? He's got broken ribs. Man.
He wants traded. He's mad. He's disgruntled up there. He's been asking for a trade, things like that. He's in a contract year. So they're sitting there, and he's got a little drama going on in the locker room. Maybe they're not playing good football for the first time in a couple of years. They're having to deal with some adversity right here. Your quarterback's banged up. You got people, the chatter in the locker room. What do you think about this, Steps? Because I am heavy on these Cardinals on the money line. I'm going to take the 3 points, but I'm also putting it on the money line and that sweet little money line parlay I got there. What you thinking on this one, man?
Yeah, so I know you talked about Higgins, but Jamar Chase has some issues too, don't they? Like him and the head coach or something? I heard they got in a little spat or something. Physical
he
altercation.
Probably said, throw me the ball. I mean, that dude's that dude's like the same way with the Jets and Garrett Wilson. You've got to get certain, and the Saints with the Olave. You got to get certain guys involved. They're just better athletes. They're some of the best players in the league right now. Some of the most athletic guys on the planet. You got to get them involved. I don't care if it's screens. I don't care if it's end of rounds. Give them a deep shot. Whatever you got to do. These guys, there's no reason they shouldn't be getting double-digit targets or double-digit chances to make something happen in the game each time. And, so when you get these diva wide receivers and stuff, they get a little burn up pretty quick. But they got a physical altercation.
That's what I read. I saw a tweet or something. I don't know if it was from someone official, but I do know there was some confusion amongst Jamar and Higgins as far as the trade goes. But I think the Bengals are just a mess right now offensively. Yeah. And I kind of like I kind of agree with what Will's been saying on this morning espresso. With at some point in time, I don't say you want to give up, but they just don't look good. They're all like I was talking about earlier, like in advanced analytics, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league right now. Now we know he's playing injured. We know that their offensive line isn't holding up, and they haven't been able to perform like they normally do. But it's just, I think they're going to be in some trouble this week. I think the books are starting to catch up to Arizona a little bit, but we're, like I said earlier, they're still a top 10. They're rated number 6 on both like sides of the ball offensively with passing and rushing. So balanced attack, top 10 in both categories. I think this spells disaster for the Bengals. I think they might win, but I think Arizona does cover or wins outright.
Go ahead, Eric.
Is Arizona 4-0 ATS?
Yes,
That
they are.
probably
No,
sounds right.
they got that last week. They lost.
Oh,
they
yeah,
recovered.
they
They should have
worked.
covered it, and they even had a chance at the end of backdoor trash cover it. But they played the 49ers as good as anybody. I know the Rams had a closer score, but the Rams never really had a chance to be in that game to win it. The Cardinals, for a little bit there, you were looking, it was like, whoa.
This is really ideal for them. If you can play hard and be competitive and develop that culture, like a solid, not winning culture, but confident, we're on our way type thing. And then you bring in a Caleb Williams. I mean, that's all systems go at that point. Because a lot of times a Caleb Williams comes into a very shit situation.
I don't know if they're going to be in the running for that, though.
Yeah.
At this rate, I don't know if they're going to have a chance to take him.
They might mess around and win too many games. They did not expect Josh Dobbs to be doing this.
Don't you know that owner's up there just
did.
cringing? That's my guy, man. I love my little astronaut from he is a Vol legend, man. Threw the Hail Mary to Jawan Jennings to beat Georgia between the hedges back in 16. I love Josh Dobbs. He is always going to be one of the smartest guys, not on the field, in the entire stadium. The dude builds rocket ships. He's an aeronautical engineer. He knows what's going on, man. I love Josh Dobbs. He's an athlete, competitor. I think the Titans are fucking fools for getting rid of him. And so it's hurt right now. I promise you, give me Josh Dobbs over Ryan Tannehill's bum ass any day. And I like what the Cardinals are doing, man. And the Bengals are in trouble. You got all that stuff going on, man. And Will's been saying it, Steps, like you said on the morning show. When do you decide to shut Joe Burrow down and maybe get you one of those high top 10 picks where you can draft him, the best offensive lineman in the draft that's going to protect him for the next decade? Eventually, you got to start evaluating that because you got weapons all over the field. You got your quarterback, got all those things, solid defense, great pass rush. You eventually got to get somebody to protect your $40 million guy.
Yeah. I mean, this ain't a Super Bowl team. And the quicker they get honest about that, the quicker they can make some good decisions for the future.
I mean, let's say it. They're the most disappointing team in football right now.
Oh, yeah.
Period. Yeah. You go to the AFC Championship, Super Bowl, then AFC Championship, back-to-back years, and you come out and start like this. I know you've had the calf trouble and all that stuff, but this has been the most disappointing team in football by far.
And the one game they won, they barely fucking won that game.
Barely.
They could easily be 0-for.
Yeah. In a game where they sacked Matthew Stafford 6 or 7 times or whatever it was. So, like, if you can't win that one, you can't win none of them. And you only won that by a touchdown because the offense is anemic.
Yeah, it really is. Everything's shotgun. 5 yards down the field. It's not, you got
you got locker room problems. You've got injury problems.
The coach. It don't get much worse than fighting the coach as far as locker room problems.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't be having that happen. That's kind of the coach's fault after a point, man. I'm sorry, but you got to be. I know that's just there's no excuse for that for me. In a business setting, something like that. Get it together, guys. You're all making millions of dollars. And you're like faces of your community and all that stuff. Get that shit together, man.
Yep. That locker room going back years has always been a little problematic with fights and being okay with dirty hits. Dirty hits sort of went out the door, but we're still fighting the coach. I don't know how much progress has been made, but yeah, I mean, a lot of things happened up until that point, and coach didn't get involved in any of that and shut it down. So next thing you know, you're scrapping with your star wide receiver.
Right. Yeah. Hey, I promise you, Zach Taylor, if they're going to fire somebody, get rid of somebody, it ain't going to be Jamar Chase. So you better be careful there, bud.
Yep.
You're right about that.
How many thousand
yards
seasons
first.
do you have, Zach? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You ain't took a snap, bro.
Exactly. And they need to fill some holes. They're going to lose T. Higgins in the offseason. They need offensive line. Like, it's time to start thinking about 2024, maybe.
I think they need to try to deal T. Higgins this year, especially if you get to that point where you're kind of in shutdown mode. You don't want that guy, and that guy he's in a contract year. He wants to go try to make some money. He's not going to want to just run around out there and look like a fool on a bad team.
No.
So he might, start bitching enough that eventually you're like, hey, please just get out of here. We'll take a 4th round pick for you. And if you can get T. Higgins for a 3rd, 4th round pick or something, that's a steal, man. Because then you still got the shot to re-sign him if he finds a spot he likes.
Yep. Well, Eagles at Rams. We were talking about this a little earlier. You guys like the Rams? I think I do too. +4, 50.5 is the total. That seems like a lot. I mean, is that because they think the Eagles are going to figure it out and put up 35 and look like the old Eagles, or do they think the Rams are going to throw on this 28th ranked pass defense? Stafford could really pile up some yards today. Fletcher Cox out with a back.
Tell me what you think, Stips.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of it. I like the Eagles in this one. Even though the Rams are getting all the weapons back, I just think up front on the defensive side of the ball, the Eagles have too big of an advantage over the offensive line of the Rams. And then I think the offense with the Eagles will get clicking this week. Each week they've kind of showed some progress there. And coming off last week with that tough divisional game against the Commanders, I don't think they were expecting to get into a dogfight like they did. But I think we're out in LA this week. I think Stafford is playing, but he does have like a tweak in his hip. And like I've been talking about on the Espresso show, the Bengals offensive line or defensive line had a lot of success getting to Stafford. So I know Kupp is coming back, but it's going to take a lot of small, short passes, especially if he's not going to be able to move. He can't move as it is. So not sure which hip it is or how much it's going to affect him, but I just like the Eagles front 7. I think they're going to be dominant today, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a double digit win.
Jalen Carter, big game. They got to let Jalen Carter play a little more. Every time he's on the field, he wins the matchup in the trenches and at least gets a hand on the quarterback. It's crazy. That guy's a
freak, absolute freak.
He's just getting started too.
Yeah. What are you expecting out of Cooper Kupp today, Cricket? They say no snap count. They say he's a full go.
Say no snap count. Everybody's like, he's come back. Man, it's been come back from injury for a year and a half now. He got to be healthy at this point. I'm just saying, he ain't been sitting at home on the couch eating potato chips and stuff. Cooper Kupp's one of the best players in football when he's out there and healthy. Now he's got somebody to take some attention away from him in Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell. You might want to start looking at Tyler Higbee. I've been saying this for years, and I might be still a fool, but this guy's eventually, they're going to have to start covering some of these other weapons, man. And eventually on to that, he's eventually going to be open in spots. He's a big guy. He drops a lot of passes. I don't feel like he should. I just don't feel like he should. Maybe that's why he doesn't get the volume in the offense, but he's going to start seeing some open matchups and maybe a sneaky tight end play in spots. But I think Cooper's going to be just fine. Like I said, he got the attention taken off him, and if they double team him, then Puka's going to go off. So, I mean, I've got them stacked in a couple lineups today, and I think they're both going to have a big game. And this Eagles team, I just don't know how good this team is. I know they're 4-0. I know they're only playing probably C+, B- football right now, but they've only got one win over a team with a winning record, and that's at the Bucks. They played a good game down there and looked probably the best they've looked all year long in that game. But all these other teams, you're looking at the Vikings, the Patriots, the Commanders, everybody losing records, teams that are not playing great football right now. So I'm just not sold on the Eagles. You got to travel out to the West Coast. They do got a lot of young guys. Them guys like to party a little bit, man. They might have been out in L.A. acting a fool a little bit. It just feels like the spot for me where I think the Eagles are still going to go 13-4, 14-3, something like that. But this feels like one of those weird spots where after they've exhausted a lot of energy in an overtime division game the week before, just feels like it could be a letdown spot right here. So I got a sweet little money line parlay that's paying out real juicy. I'll give you guys here in just a little bit. But, yeah, I like the Rams on the money line.
Yeah, overtime divisional game last week that they didn't expect to exert that much energy. Then you fly across the country. Yep, it's a classic cricket travel spot right there.
That's right.
You guys saw Georgia yesterday, right? You know, we've been talking about Georgia all year. Where are they going to put it all together? I think today's when we see the Eagles put it all together. This is my Georgia game for the Eagles today.
And I double dipped that Georgia game. I was on the over, and I took the Bulldogs minus 14.5. Georgia covered the over by themselves. I love those.
Kirby put a call into his NFL defense, the Georgia Eagles, and they're going to come motivated today. So
I tell them people to be careful starting to doubt those Georgia Bulldogs. I don't know if anybody knows, but they've won 24 in a row now. I mean, eventually, I'm not going to talk no shit till I see them finally get an L, man.
They looked so good yesterday.
Oh,
Heck looked
because
really
they
good.
are good. Oh my God, he
I
couldn't
know.
throw an incomplete pass forever. If that guy gets together, there ain't
He throws a good ball.
Would beat the Bengals. The Georgia Bulldog. Carson Beck figures out the Georgia Bulldogs would beat the Cincinnati Bengals.
Let's not go that far.
It's got to be a benefit for Philly to have and Green Bay's sort of trying to do it too. Draft a bunch of dudes from the same school. They all come up together. That just got to make for a more cohesive, tighter locker room.
It does. You're right, man. It's got to. You got these guys that are already used to each other, been hanging out and building rapport for years. I don't think it's a bad thing the Eagles are doing right there. A lot of teams don't like to do that. A lot of teams don't like to load up on guys from one school, and the Eagles look like they might be setting a pedigree for this thing.
Yep. Yeah, they're not afraid to be a little different than the rest up in Philly. They make all kinds of deals. Like as a Packers fan, I'm real jealous of the business they do over in Philadelphia.
You guys
they
know
make
there's
calls
only
and sign papers.
Yeah, they do. There's only 2 teams that have ever, after losing the Super Bowl the year before, to start 4-0 the next season. This Philadelphia Eagles team is one of them. Do you guys know the other one? The 1998 Green Bay Packers.
Oh yeah, we went 15-1 that year, I believe, and then just got spanked.
That's the Super Bowl year, though, right? After the year after y'all lost it, y'all came back and won it the next year. So the only team to ever start 4-0 after losing the year before is that Green Bay Packers team that did go on to win the title. So history's on the Eagles' side right there.
Interesting. I think I've seen more people than I expected concerned about starting Cooper Kupp this week, Cricket, and I am not worried at all. I think he's displayed himself as a reliable target. He's got the rapport with Stafford. He's catching 15 a game. So maybe he catches 8 or 9. You still got him almost for free.
I will sleep a lot easier putting Cooper Kupp in my lineup and him laying a dud than leaving him on the bench and him scoring 40.
Yeah.
So I think this game was probably circled. They circled this one for him coming off injury.
Yeah.
This is the one they wanted to make sure he was healthy for.
Yeah. And they're in a good spot, man. Getting back 2-2. Now him coming back from his injury, you're right there at 500. If you're 0-4, it's like, do we even want to bring him back? But you're 2-2 now. You're still playing for something, man.
Would be a massive statement win for the Rams if they could get that done. Must-see TV. Speaking of Chiefs at Vikings, 52.5. That's not high enough, is it? Vikings plus 3.5. I'm a little surprised by that line. Even though it's at Minnesota, I figured the Chiefs off a loss, these books would put us at 5.5. Something like that.
It opened, I think, at 4.5, and that's why I'm still. I liked the Vikings when it opened at 4.5. When I see it keep creeping down like that, a lot of people think that's a spot. Yeah, let me just take the Chiefs down. I don't like them reverse line movements like that. That's telling me something's up. This just feels like a spot. The Chiefs are also a team that's going to go 14-3 this year. This totally feels like a spot for me where they could lose this one and then go and win 10 straight.
Yep.
So I think I'm on the bike. Let me tell you that money line parlay. I don't know if you heard yesterday, but I had Jaguars, Cardinals, Vikings, Colts, and there was one more. Rams. Rams was the last one. Yeah, and it was like plus 11,000 or something. All money line. All dog money line, baby. And I'm like, let's go. They're not big dogs, so it ain't like I'm acting for nothing crazy,
Exactly. We're not looking at no 7-1. It's probably got some 175s in there. I mean, it's doable. And these Vikings score points.
They do, man.
I fully expect Kirk Cousins to just be chucking it all over the yard today.
I think he will be. I think Kirk. I know it's not 1 p.m. Kirk, but primetime Kirk showed up this past time too. We talked all that, spoke about how he was terrible on primetime. He actually showed up to play on that Thursday night game. I know they got thumped, but he still showed up and did his job from a fantasy standpoint. I think Kirk will be just fine today, man.
Pacheco got all kinds of work last week in New York, maybe because that was his homecoming. I'm not sure. I forgot he went to Rutgers.
I did too. I screwed that up, man. I went on his under on his rushing yards, and they were like, "Ooh!" In his homecoming, I was like, "Shit, he's going over for sure."
Facebook user, they do score points. It's the winning they can't get down.
You got that part.
Cricket. Right. I did hear you talking about the line. That line would open at 6. It's at 3.5.
So it's 6? I thought it was 4.5. That's what I'm saying. It's plummeting. Something's weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
I think that weird. I still think the Chiefs are going to have an offensive day today. I don't know. Both teams probably will. I think it's going to be big.
The total's at 52.5, so it's way up there. Probably the highest one of the week, I'd say.
I took their team total. I got it at 27.5. I think it's at 28.5 right now. I still think I like it there.
I like it at least at 27.5. You get 4 touchdowns out of it. I think that's a good spot. I hate that 28.5 because then it's sure as shit it'll be a 28-24 final.
Yep.
That would be
30
right on the number, both of them, the 3.5 and the 52. So 28-24 sounds real possible. I like it at 27.5. I wouldn't at 28.5.
Yeah. I was looking at
so
the game props. I think KC's total touchdowns is 3.5. So they're
I would take
expecting
that.
Man, how do they know? How do
So
they know?
that Mahomes, when I was talking about his like 4 touchdown prop and plus 550, it says here that Mahomes has thrown at least 4 touchdowns 16 times in his career. So 19% of his games, he's thrown at least 4 touchdowns.
1 out of 5.
What is his?
And he hasn't. He's due 11, 13, 22 against Jacksonville last time he did it. So he is due.
Yep.
Is there any way we can find out what his game looks like after he throws two plus picks in the previous week? I bet he comes back and goes off. This dude don't throw a lot of picks.
That's the type of guy he is.
As bad as he looked last week, that's what I'm saying. He's been stewing all week long on that game last week. People talking about Zach Wilson outplaying him after Zach Wilson's been bashed for weeks. You don't think Patrick Mahomes going to come out ready to play today?
That's what I'm saying.
He threw 2 interceptions against Buffalo, came out the next week and threw 1 touchdown against San Francisco. Then he threw 3 picks at Denver the next week. At Houston, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He's not throwing picks the game after he
not throwing picks. So it might want to be on his under, but he doesn't sound like he's exactly lighting it up either, though. You know, maybe the under on the pick props. I got a feeling he'll be a lot more careful with the ball today, and it's going to be sitting at 0.5. But you might be able to get, I mean, probably maybe minus 120, minus 130 or something on the under.
Damn
who
flag.
gets him? I don't know who in that secondary is going to be able to get one. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you take the under on him today. I don't think he turns the ball over today.
Nope. Points.
Pacheco's
30-24.
What's Pacheco's rush total?
That's a good question. He got plenty usage last week. So is he tired or is he the hot hand?
The Vikings front 7 ain't good, man. They're not good. That's where they struggle on the defensive side of the ball. So I think Pacheco's over on rushing yards might be a spot to look today, as long as it's not nothing crazy. As long as I wouldn't take him anything higher than 65 on the over.
58.5.
Oh, I'm over on that one. I'm over. He's getting at least 60.
There's going to be fireworks in this game, guys. This one's going to be a crazy one. I think
Cam Akers 23.5. Do you think they start integrating Cam Akers? Because even a few carries, he could put up 23.5 yards.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be. Yeah, I thought Cam Akers was going to be involved last week. And then Alexander Madison comes out and knows. I think Alexander Madison knows his job's on the line, man. He came out and rushed for almost 100 last week. Looked good. Looked real good. So
yep.
I think you got to start incorporating Cam Akers in there somewhere. Somebody's eventually going to have to give that guy a real shot to where, he doesn't have to look over his shoulder and stuff. But I think you could have a pretty good little 2-headed monster with Madison and Akers right there.
Patriot 4165 says KC is the lock.
We need to talk about his game. We should have, he sticks around anyways, but we definitely need to talk about his Cowboys San Francisco matchup because that's the matchup of the week for sure.
That is.
Yep. He is waiting all day for Sunday night today. The tough will get rough in a primetime fight. Cowboys at 49ers. Niners minus 3.5, total 45. Hendershot out with an ankle. That just means more for Ferguson. He's just going to be out there catching 7-8 balls again. Elijah Mitchell out with a knee. It's going to be a fight. I think we're going to learn that Dallas isn't quite where they thought they were.
Yeah.
San Francisco coming in focus. CMC over and over and over again.
I think we found out where the Cowboys were a couple weeks ago at Arizona. Go ahead, Steps. I want to hear your take.
No, I think, a lot of people are probably going to expect these teams to come out firing, and I think it's going to be more of like a feeling out party for like the first quarter. We're in prime time. This is a big game for both teams being on top of the league. First 2 matchups that they're going to play each other this year. So,
and
I think
it could go a long way in saying who gets that if they meet in the playoffs. Who gets the home field advantage. So this is a huge game today.
I like the under. I lean San Francisco, but I love the under. I mean, we're in a prime time spot with 2 teams where everybody thinks that, it could be a little bit of a shootout, but I think we're going to get just a kind of a knock them out, drag them out. CMC probably gets 2 touchdowns. He'll at least get 1, but we're trying to bet against his touchdowns. Did we ever figure out what that prop was?
I don't know, but I can't in good conscience bet either one of those at this point.
For
There's gotta
him
be a
not to
time he
score.
doesn't score one, but then again, he scored 14 games in a row. So I can't in good conscience touch that. I'm just gonna have to miss the boat on this thing.
Yep.
I mean,
The
how
time
many
to
in a
get
row
on
does
is
he have?
fast.
14?
Yeah.
14 in a row. Yep. Set the record. Broke Jerry Rice's record last week. Franchise
And to
record.
score a touchdown, like he's probably minus 300. So to not score one, he's got to be.
I bet
at
he's
least
higher than that
plus
now
250.
to score one. I bet it's
Yeah.
minus 350, minus 400 at this point, man. It just keeps creeping up there week after week. Last week, he could have tied the franchise record for most touchdowns in a game with 5, and they had on the 1 yard line. They decided to give Brock Purdy the old tush push to get him in there, man. I was like, give CMC the ball, let him tie that record, man. Come on.
AK is gone, but he's never actually gone. He's like, what about Bob? You think he's gone? He's not gone. He's
What about
never
Bob?
gone.
What a reference. Whoa, what about Bob?
He says Taylor Swift at a concert that rivaled the crowd noise of the Minnesota Miracle. Now the two sides go head to head for who's louder. But was Taylor Swift piping in crowd noise, or was hers all legit? Because I know the Vikings have been known to manufacture some crowd noise.
She's not going to the game today either. So
I hope she never goes to another one. She's ruining football. And
she only
goes
goes prime time.
I'm so ready for the Chiefs to lose just so everybody will shut up. I was hoping they would lose last week, and then this would be done. We could be done with all this. But they keep winning these close games, and I'm like, you got to be shitting me, man.
They should have. The refs just straight up robbed us of a great Zach Wilson moment. It could have been him coming into his own.
You know what I did the other day? I sprinkled a little bit on Zach Wilson to win Comeback Player of the Year at plus 10,000. Because I'm like, it's bad. You had Joe Namath just drunk, smoking his blunt, tweeting out everything, talking all the shit about Zach Wilson. You got the greatest quarterback in franchise history talking shit about their top 5 pick, just hard bashing him. Comes out, plays the best game of his career against the defending Super Bowl champions. What if Zach Wilson turns it around? Plus 10,000. I'm willing to bet a little bit on it just to see.
The kid refuses to be rattled. So much shit has happened to him. So many people have said horrible things. And he has never had that smile wiped off his face.
Nope.
He's just ready for the next play.
Chunking bombs and banging moms, man.
I've come all full circle. Like, I was sort of annoyed with him when he was drafted, but now I'm rooting for the kid.
I am too, man. I'm pretty sure we could hang out. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think I could have a couple with Zach Wilson and probably get along. Yeah,
have you guys seen any like the old videos of him, like either in like high school or in college, when he's like making like sex jokes with his hands and stuff?
No,
he's got a little dirty mind for sure.
And he was at BYU, man.
Exactly. That's what makes it even better. You know, all those,
I love it.
Those holy Mormons.
I love it.
So what's your favorite bet in this Niners game, Heavy?
The under. I like the under. I think it's tough to take a side here. I mean, it's so close.
Yeah.
You know, we know both teams are great, and
no, we don't. We know one
Cowboys.
We know one team is great.
Okay.
We
know it's a great matchup.
Touchdowns at Arizona. You lost by 2 touchdowns at Arizona. I'm not going to fucking forget that.
Yeah, and I also I think the reason why I would lean San Francisco, not only because they are the better team cricket, they're at home, right? You know, they're at home.
They are.
So, you know, that's why, you know, the line's probably minus 3.5. The hook is, you know, is there. So I don't know, man. That's why I like the under. I'll just enjoy both teams beating each other up.
AK says Niners by $1 billion. Tex and Butch P have not signed off on this. But Cricket, do you think Shanahan is going to keep some things in his back pocket? Like, we're going to see these guys in the playoffs again, likely, and everybody's watching this game. Let's not show them everything. We could probably beat the Cowboys with 70% of our playbook. Or is this an all hands on deck? We just got to win this thing.
I'm pretty sure Kyle Shanahan has a playbook about the size of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So that man's always keeping something in his pocket. He ain't never. And if he don't, he just come up with some new shit, man. That's one of the best minds in football right there. I love what he's doing with Brock Purdy. You got so many weapons out there around those guys. You got the best defense in football. You got the best all-around football player in football. And you got your game manager out there that you drafted last in the draft. And he's just out there doing the damn thing. Not making mistakes, throwing the pill right, hitting the open guy, taking what the defense gives him. Because he knows, as long as I don't turn the ball over and screw this thing up, as long as I don't lose the game for my team, we're going to have a chance to win every single week because I got the players around me to make it happen. I think the Niners win this one going away tonight. I think the line's
not only
too low.
that,
Go ahead.
Shanahan woke up last Tuesday morning. He found Randy Gregory standing on his doorstep with a
That's
bow
what
on
I'm
him.
saying, man. They're just all they're doing is adding to this monster, and it's
Bill
like you
scored.
got more depth, huh?
Bill scored. Diggs touchdown.
Diggs. All right. I need that -5 to come home, but I also need Dalton Kincaid to get in the end zone. What would be beautiful is Dalton Kincaid a 40-yard touchdown to put him over by 5. That would be
to cover.
that's the dream.
Oh my god. That
The
would
whole
be.
parlay hits in one play.
Since we're wishing and all, I know I had DJ Moore over 50.5 receiving yards the other night, and he covers in the first drive, the first catch. I think I was like, man, I love it when they do that. Just give me that money.
Don't you love how this line in this game is like it was -5, 5.5, and it's just a weird score too right now. It's 11-7.
You know that
and
only
the line was 5.5. So weird.
I think 2 games in NFL history have ended at 11-7. One of them was last year in that Jets-Dolphins game in Week 18, and the other one was back, I think, like 2001. My Buccaneers lost 11-7 in the playoffs. Something. So, yeah, that's a weird score, man. Weird scores happen like that. It's because you can bet those things or whatever. When I started betting exact scores, I was like, maybe I should look at some of the scores that have never happened in the history of the NFL and leave those alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Exact scores are they're tricky business. Game manager, he's offended. Brock Purdy, 4-year starter at Iowa State. He came in NFL ready. Shanahan probably just walking around saying, I told you so for the last year.
I mean, are you ready to just put it all on Brock Purdy's hands, man? I don't think
95% completions last week.
I like it. Yeah, the man's throwing a lot of. I wonder what his average yardage per attempt is. You know, I like Brock Purdy, man. The man ain't never lost a regular season game doing what he's supposed to do, but I don't think game manager. I wasn't trying to offend you there, AK. Easy, big dog. I mean, I think game manager's a pretty good deal. There's a lot of guys that made a real good career out of being game managers and using the monsters around them.
What's that say about Trey Lance, though? You know, that he could Shanahan could work with pretty much anything, and he decided to move on from that pretty quick.
I don't know. I think it's because he's found his guy now. I don't want to put Trey Lance out to pasture just yet because the guy's had some tough luck. He hadn't played a whole lot of football coming to the NFL anyway. He had just been great at the football he had played, and he had some tough luck with the injuries. We don't know that Trey Lance couldn't have done the same thing in that offense had he been healthy all last season. Well, we don't know that, man. We just haven't got the sample size. I know everybody's down on him, but I think, if they don't, the window's closing, though. He's getting older, man. He's got some injury problems. Eventually, he's going to have to try to find a landing spot to get his footing, or the ship's going to sail. But I'm not ready to just put him out to pasture just yet.
Dak free agent this year, right?
Ooh.
Isn't he? That might have been why they made that move.
I don't know that. I thought Dak just got paid a few years ago.
He might have. I might be wrong. Who knows?
I'm looking at Brock Purdy on the Fantasy Points data suite. Average adjusted net yards per attempt. That's pass yards plus pass TD. It's adjusted 9.08. So about 9 yards per attempt. That's pretty good. That's
solid, dude. That's solid. I didn't realize he was throwing it that far down the field, but yeah, I mean, he's got everybody out there. Ayuk healthy, Debo healthy, George Kittle at tight end, McCaffrey, even Elijah Mitchell ain't no slouch, man. When he don't get a lot of volume because he's running behind CMC, but they got the weapons out there, dude. Brock Purdy, just keep doing your thing, man, because you look good.
Yeah.
Shanahan has that offense.
For us.
He has it set up. If he's got a smart quarterback that can make good decisions and throw the football accurately, I know that's asking a lot. But he has it set up to where most of the time your first or second read is going to be open, and you're going to be able to get the ball to him.
He went to a Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
No, I'm wrong. That was Jim Harbaugh. I'm wrong.
Should have won a Super. He should have won a Super Bowl as the coordinator for the Falcons, 28-3.
Yep. We won't blame that on him. His offense was doing all right. Well, they did all right for the first. We're blaming everybody for the Falcons.
How do you think the Falcons feel about passing up on him?
Interesting thing came out.
The 49ers.
Them and everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, all these guys were in Washington, D.C., and they all walked out the door. McVay, LaFleur, Shanahan. There was a tweet this week that said, just admit Shanahan lost the Super Bowl on purpose so he could get Garoppolo in San Francisco. And Devonta Smith liked the tweet. So,
Chris, hit the button, dude. Hit the button. The tinfoil. X-Files, man. Where you at?
He just got back.
I was our boy Chris feeling rough, man. He got that funk right now. We're letting him slide today, man. Yeah,
He's already got.
There it is.
He's already got a softball practice and a stream under his belt. He's crushing it this morning. Under the weather, overperforming.
We see you, Millie Ghost. We see you, Millie Ghost, down there. Like I said, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, man. I still think you're going to win tonight, bro. Sorry. Damn.
I think they are. Yeah, let's hit this Monday night game. Packers at Raiders. Raiders -2, 1.5, something like that. Total 45. We get Devontae Adams versus Jair Alexander, both a little banged up. Aaron Jones limited practice all week, just 34% of snaps last week. We may be showcasing A.J. Dillon. I got my eye on this. Devondre Campbell out. That sucks. He's a big locker room guy. Rudy Ford, questionable with an oblique. He's one of the better safeties this year, actually. Rudy Ford playing well. Watson, questionable with a hamstring. But even with the bye week coming up, I feel like they want him to play this game.
Yeah.
Do you feel good putting Christian Watson in a lineup, Cricket?
I mean, I think so. He's out there last week. I know he's going to be one of those guys like Julio Jones. He's going to have a questionable tag for a decade and wind up playing a lot of the games as long as he's capable of doing it. You know, he comes in last week, didn't get a whole lot of volume, a couple targets, but did get a touchdown. When that guy's in the lineup, man, I can't see you having a much better option at flex. I mean, unless you're just in a really short league or something like that. But I think anything above a 10-team league, 10 and plus, I think Christian Watson's a viable flex option each week. You know, you obviously got to monitor 90 minutes before kickoff and all that. You just got to be careful with this Monday night stuff. You know, if he's playing a 1 p.m. game on Sunday, it's okay. You can check that. We don't know nothing until tomorrow night, and you might wind up still putting yourself in a bad spot. So this week, you probably got to bench him with a questionable tag if you got anything remotely close to him. But I think this guy's on his way back, man. He didn't really show me that he was too banged up last week. So as long as there's no setbacks between Monday night, I see no reason why he wouldn't be out there.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a couple rush attempts. I'm going to see if that's on the board tomorrow because they do like to use him in some jet sweeps and some end around type stuff. And if Jones is limited,
you think they're ready for that yet, though? With the injury,
yeah,
do you think they're ready to do it? I mean, I think if you're out there on the field, you should be ready for anything.
Yep,
Jags
I'm over here with
fumble.
my green and gold glasses on. Jags fumble. Bills on the comeback trail.
On the 20-yard line. They were about to score. The Jags were like 40
Is it not
seconds
halftime?
left. It's halftime. Jets or the Buffalo kneeled the ball. They didn't hand it off. They didn't do anything stupid. We learned from yesterday.
Hey, Mario Cristobal, maybe you should be watching the London game this morning, man. Take a knee, bro. It works.
Is Alexander playing for the Packers? Is he going to play? And how do you think they lost? Man, who's the lineman?
Bakhtiari.
Yeah, he's done for the year.
Yeah, he's
but
been
relatively healthy.
2019.
The rest of the team looks healthy coming into this one, right?
I think so. For the most part, other than Campbell and Jair, who's questionable, I think Jair and Devontae are going to force themselves out there.
And
yeah, Adams, versus I forgot about that.
Bakhtiari is out for the year.
Green Bay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A little revenge game there. He's probably going to be motivated, but Bakhtiari is out for the offensive line for Green Bay for the year. They expect him to be ready for camp coming back. I don't remember what the bang up. What is it, pec or I don't remember what it is. Either way, he's out for the year, man. So that obviously hurts the offensive line there. But Jordan Love is playing like the next big-time quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. I don't understand how you guys print those quarterbacks out there. You have a system. You just draft them in the first round, set them on the bench for 3 years, and let them come in and piss excellence. I love that part of it. But this feels like a weird spot for me, man. I hate to say it, but I think I'm on the Raiders in this thing. It just feels like one of those spots. They finally started feeding Josh Jacobs last week when Garoppolo was hurt. Looks like Garoppolo is going to play, but I think they realize that offense is going to run through how Josh Jacobs plays and the amount of volume he gets because that guy's a monster, still one of the best running backs in football. And I think you got to feed him and try to shorten up the game and control the tempo right there and let your best player play. And I think they decided to do that last week. Almost came back in that Chargers game where they were undermanned. And I think you're going to see a pretty motivated Raiders team on Monday night.
Yeah, Jacobs, I am worried about. I'm pulling up his rushing yards right now, and it is 72.5. Boy, I think he goes over 72.5, although he's been catching the ball a lot lately.
What's his receiving yards?
That's a great question. I think he caught 7 last week.
Because they gave me free. They gave me free money in that Thursday night game. We had Brian Robinson Jr.'s receiving yards sitting at 6.5, and they just gave me that money. I think he wound up with 33. I mean, when you got them that low, man, one catch, they break one catch for, a good little game, they're over it.
Yep. They don't have it listed.
That's
cowards.
because they know they have to put it like 11.5, and they know he's getting over that in one catch.
Romeo Dobbs 3.5. The over is -162, but he's
good.
been the target monster in Green Bay.
I think that's the guy, man. Over 3.5 receptions. I think that's a good spot right there. I mean, I would love to be if you got
162.
-162.
That's some juice.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's worth paying the money. I think they're giving you money right there because I think this guy. I mean, he's been getting nearly double-digit targets, even with Christian Watson in the game. He still had a good game last week. I mean, Romeo, he's a player, man, and he's going to get some volume in that offense.
Over 4.5, you can get +104. Over 5.5, +189.
I like over 4.5 at plus money. I think that's a great bet right there. I love those +105s, man. I really do. I have a lot of success betting those. I don't know why. I know it don't really matter, but the numbers. But I like +105s, and I think that's a lock right there.
Yeah, he's been getting, I mean, as much as we love Christian Watson, Dobbs has been getting the targets. His targets so far, he's had 12 and 13 targets his last 2 games. So 25 over his last 2.
Yeah, and let's remember how many people had Romeo Dobbs as a sleeper last year. One of their big sleepers. It was always kind of, there were some people on Christian Watson, some people on Dobbs. So it's like, it's not like this guy's just burst out of nowhere. We've been expecting him to kind of get his volume and get rolling this offense for over a year now. It kind of looks like he's coming into his own.
Yep. Ever since his rookie training camp, Rodgers came out and said he was making wow plays every day. So let me get this guy on all my teams.
Yeah. And I mean, that's one of the best quarterbacks to ever live saying that about you. So you must be doing something right.
This game to me feels a lot of like last Monday night game where the Giants everybody was on that side of the ball, and Seattle came out and showed everybody real quick that they were the better team. And I think if you're a Packers fan, you're going to love what I'm about to say, because I think the Packers are going to do the same thing. So I like the Packers here in this spot on the road. I think they're the better team. And like I said, it reminds me a lot of last Monday in Seattle in the same spot. I think they're going to roll here. I don't think Vegas is that good.
You think they're worse than the Giants, though?
I don't think they're that much better. I mean, they're 1-3.
That's a fair.
I know that
point.
they played without their quarterback last week, but I just think their coach is awful. I think it starts with him. Like, he's a good offensive guy, but he's dreadful.
He is one of the worst in the league. If the Giants played, or if Vegas played at the Giants, what would the line be? Vegas -2.5.
You might get it to 3.5.
It would be between 2.5 and 3.5.
They're so bad. The Giants are so bad.
I think you're going to see the same with Vegas this week. They're going to show you that they're not a good football team.
I don't know that Las Vegas, like the books, can figure the Giants out yet either. I don't think they know. They're just throwing a number up there each week and hoping they finally cover one, so they can get some people backing away from just taking that money every week on the betting against the Giants.
Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling good about Will's money line.
I'm not. I think Will's in the sauce, man. When I walked away to get my coffee, I'm glad you brought that back up, because when I walked away, you started all that. I think Will, I love him. That's my guy, man. I listen. I respect.
What was the bet?
Will's got the Giants beating the Dolphins today.
Plus he tweeted it out. It's like his play.
I think Will's in the sauce, man. I think he done, the mountains are blue too early this morning, and it have been every morning that he's been off this week. I love you, Will. You're my guy. You know that. I am not sure where he's getting this from. Now, maybe he'll be able to tell me, I told you so on the Morning Espresso shot tomorrow, but I think it's going to be a rougher show for him than me.
It's one of those, even if you lose it, it's not, I mean, you can just be like, come on. It was
not when you do a show with me. No, I'm going to say, you know how many days in a row I had to listen to you talk this shit last week? I told you that was ignorant.
Oh, no, I have Miami losing to the New York Giants on the money.
Oh my God! See, Chris drink Will's Kool-Aid too, man. They've been the mountains were blue early for them together, man.
It was $2. $2.
That's all right.
Makes it fun. It makes it fun.
We can accept the fact you didn't put it in a parlay. So we're making. Wait. Oh goodness. Oh,
maybe not.
Oh, you did it. Oh, you did it. Kickoff's still 2 hours away.
I did it a few different ways.
Oh, never mind. I
parlay teaser. I got it.
Chris, just a couple of days ago, he was like, "Oh, this betting these one sides is working out real well." Now he's betting one side 5 different ways.
Yep. I was talking to him last week. I'm like, man, I'm betting too many parlays, I'm losing my ass over here. And he told me all about the conversation you guys had about how, you take those -110s, and at the end of the day, you're plus money. The bets may not be, but you will be. And I'm like, yeah, Chris, that makes a lot of sense.
Man, if you're betting your parlays, you should at least be putting a little bit. Set your unit size, maybe bring it down, but you should at least be putting a little bit of money on each pick individually. Because when you go 6 out of 7, you still made money. You ain't just out the money line parlay, and you feel like the universe is against you right there.
Oh, that's emotionally damaging.
That's old.
Oh my God, I totally feel like the gods hate my guts sometimes.
Yeah.
On a game
on
the Fresno State, Utah State, or Nevada game or something, and they score with no time left, and I'm like, why do you hate me so much?
Yeah.
How about the Arkansas, Mississippi State keeping it under? Those
Ole Miss?
motherfuckers, dude. Or, I mean, Ole Miss. Yeah, Arkansas keeping it under by like a point.
But how do they know?
Like they know.
How do they know? That's what I'm like, God, I know it's not scripted. I know there's no way they can script any of this stuff. There's too many moving variables. But damn it, y'all sure make us think about it sometimes.
Arizona State +4, getting the cover.
Yeah, that's garbage.
That's crazy.
Actually, I got it down. I got Colorado -3, so I pushed that one and I picked them up in game at +3.5. So I wound up making money on that one. It worked out.
Yeah, I think it closed at 3.5 too. So if you were betting that game in Colorado kicking that field goal to win it, if you're on the other side,
I got the push on that one and then got the win on the in-game bet for them. So I didn't see Coach Prime losing that game.
Cricket, tell me though, on the New York Giants money line bet, you don't hate that a man would throw $2 on that.
No, that's a good point. I was going to say, I don't mind you doing what you're doing for $2. Will out here acting a fool.
Oh yeah, he put $300, $400 on that shit.
Yeah,
Will
he just like, I mean, that's what happens when you hit those crazy ass parlays, 250 to win 1,200 or whatever. It's like, hey, this is free money. Hey, Will, buddy, they'll let you cash that stuff out. They actually give you greenbacks at the cage if you'll go cash that money in.
Yeah,
you're doing exactly what they want you to do.
Or just roll it back into the Giants money line. Whatever.
What my brain does, if I hit a 20-1 and win 100 on $5, I'm like, well, now I could bet this 100 and really only lose 5 if it loses.
Let me bet the whole 100 on another 20-1 and see what I can do here, and then usually they get their 100 back.
Yeah, and then you walk away from the TV saying football's dumb anyway.
I'll tell you, I'm so proud of myself.
You have to look at it is like you said, you might win it back over time. $5, you win 100, you got $100 to play with, but it just kind of evens out, either way. But your chances of the parlay is evening out. It's a lot. You could go 6 months without hitting one of them.
Man, I've been saying to my unit size, I've always had a problem with discipline in sports betting because I'll get on a little streak and I'm like, all right, let's pump it up here, and then I wind up flat broke again because I go on a losing streak at that point. I've kept every unit size the same bet all year long. I'm not wavering from that, man. I'm making money right now. I ain't wavering.
Here's the reason why you have to do that is because the minute you're feeling yourself and you double your unit size, it takes half the time to lose all the money you just built up. So
exactly.
You've got to pick your spot. You've got to pick your spot.
Man.
Yeah, I've got a number that I've got set. Once I get to that number, then I'll double it. And I have another number set, and I'm not changing until I get to those numbers. And then I have another number, like if I go back down to this number, then I go back to that unit size. And I'm not wavering off that, man.
How much do you guys put in a Sunday of your bankroll in bets? What percentage?
I'm probably like 30% on.
That's what I was going to say. Probably 30 to 40, depending on how many in-game lines I wind up liking and stuff like that. But I try not to ever use more than 30 to 40%. Because I mean, granted, you're never
bankroll, right?
But more times than not, you're not going to lose them all. But it is possible. And so I'm not trying to completely just destroy my bankroll in one day. Some days it's just not your day, and I don't have the discipline yet to stop betting when it's not my day. But I have had the discipline to not pump it up and try to make up for lost money.
Yeah, you're that guy with the pickaxe and the diamonds are just right behind. You don't want to stop digging right before you hit them.
That's right. I like a day trading mentality, man. Small investments, small returns, build something over time.
You have to be consistent.
You guys are just the angel I need on the one shoulder while my other conscience.
I started to say, you got to watch this motherfucker over here on this side, though. That's the guy that'll get you in trouble.
Yep.
It's so fun to hit.
Red 13, baby. Let's go.
Chris, doesn't it feel good to be able to put $150 on a bet that is a coin flip versus a 5-leg parlay, and then when it hits, you're $100 richer?
Yeah, no. I started betting like heavy steps about 2 months ago, and I have not deposited since.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It's not broke. Don't fix it.
I'm sitting over here on Sports Picks, and I'm preaching to these people about having discipline and all that stuff. It's like, well, Cricket, you probably should practice what you preach, dickhead.
See, I used to be like, if I had, let's say I had $200, I would bet $5 on this game, $5 on that game, $5 bets, and then I would roll all those into $175 parlay. That fucked me.
See, that's where it's getting you, bro. That's where it's getting you.
Now I'm putting just my units on there, and then on a parlay, I'll put like $1 to win like 30.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's
Keep doing that, bro. Because parlays, they'll tell you I'm a sucker too, man. My buddy Cody gets on me for same game parlays all the time, but I love that shit. I really do. And they are sucker bets. They were made. That's where all those big casinos out in Vegas, they build at least half those off parlays.
Here's a rule of thumb for me. So if I'm playing a favorite bet, okay, and for example, NFL is one of my more profitable sports. So I typically will play 3 units. I don't change like my dollars of units versus for each sport. So that's why I have a 3-unit play on every MLB, NFL. That's just my standard play on a game because those are my strong sports. College football, I'm usually a 1-unit better there.
Yeah.
I like to bet a favorite.
1.
Yeah, I'll bet a favorite 3 units. But then if I'm betting a dog, I'm betting to win 3 units. So anytime I'm betting a dog, I'm betting to win the 3 units. Anytime I'm betting a favorite, I'm just risking 3 units. If that makes sense. A lot of people will risk 3 units on an underdog and then bet a favorite to win 3 units. So that's just my strategy that I like to utilize. Yeah. And whenever I have a dog that loses, it doesn't feel as bad, because I'm not
crippling. Yeah.
Because you're out a unit in 3/4.
Yeah.
Yep. You didn't get tortured.
But if you won your 3 units.
Yep. Yeah. And even if you lose, you still get to play tomorrow. You can't win nothing if you ain't got no money in that account, man. You just
it took me a while to figure out what Heavy was doing there. I didn't ask him. I was just watching like let's say the NCAA bets. They go from 3, everything's 3 units if you follow Heavy, everything until you hit college football. Then you're like 1.8, 1.2, 1.6. I'm like, oh, but they all equal the 3 units at the end.
Yeah, I'm more.
That's when I saw it.
I'm more about just setting your unit size and staying on full units, and then the parlay and stuff. I'll go to, depending on how big the parlay is, I'll go down to half unit, maybe even a quarter unit at times to get those big ones up there. And so, guys, I got to hop out of here, man. I got some stuff. I got to get my picks posted and everything before Sports Pick. We're gonna try to keep that heater rolling today, fellas.
Let's go, baby.
Beautiful. Yep. It's just about time to hit some injury reports and settle in for these games. Thank you, Cricket and Heavy, for joining us. Thank you, everyone in the chat on Rumble, Millie Goats, all the fine folks that have joined us this morning. Make sure you go follow Cricket over at sportspicks.locals.com. Go follow Heavy Steps on Action. Where else you want people to find you, Heavy?
Twitter, Heavy_Steps. Turn your notifications on. MLB playoffs going on right now. Football's still going on too, I guess, right?
Oh,
yep.
Are we playing football right now?
That's right.
What?
Yep.
Football. Hey, man, y'all need. When this guy speaks about baseball, man, y'all listen. He knows his baseball, man. He knows his baseball.
Appreciate that.
If you don't have him on Twitter, you better get on there.
We through one baseball season, we almost got a raptor in the driveway.
Yep. So, I'm just saying, man. Yeah.
If I would have fucking figured out that I'm an idiot better and just followed the
back
Heavy
in
May, we would have a raptor that's wrapped right now in the driveway.
Yep.
Right. I got a water heater and a furnace off baseball this year.
Hey, shit, you ain't taking cold showers, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
There you go. Make sure you subscribe to the Fantasy Sports Corporation channel. And remember, all the best people turn notifications on. Best of luck with your bets and your lineups. We will see you right back here next Sunday morning so we can do it all again. Till next time, best of luck with your wagers. Chris, kick the outro music.